gas.
President Trump says there's a blockade against Iranian vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. The president says a 20% toll could be slapped on all cargo. He told Fox News the U.S. would take control of the strait and get paid to do it.
We hit them very hard last night. Every time they send a drone, we hit them very hard. But we had a deal. What nobody knows, we had a deal. It was a done deal. And then they broke it.
WTIC news time is 2:04 from the WTIC 24-hour traffic network. Still working actually, it's a vehicle fire in Southington. It's 84 westbound between exits 31 and 30, but it's tying up both the right and center lanes. Earlier crash, it looks, in East Hartford on Route 15, the 90 off-ramp. They had to close that, but it looks like that has been taken care of. Also in the town of Winchester, State Route 800, that's closed between Willow and New Street. There was a crash there earlier that tore down a pole and some wires. Let's check in with Bob Cox. He's got the WTIC Weather Center forecast.
During the afternoon, we'll continue to see sunshine mixing with a few clouds at times. Can't rule out a shower popping up in one or two locations as a mid-level trough moves across the area. We'll see highs in the low to mid-80s. Dew points are in the upper 50s and low 60s, so the humidity is still fairly comfortable, and winds southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour with a few higher gusts. Partly cloudy tonight, lows averaging 65 to 70. A heat advisory goes into effect at 11 a.m. Tuesday. That will continue through most of the day Wednesday. It's going to be sunny, breezy, hot, and humid tomorrow with highs in the 90s. The heat index probably reaches 100 tomorrow afternoon. A west to southwest breeze at 10 to 20 miles per hour with some higher gusts. Clear to partly cloudy and muggy Tuesday night, lows in the 70s. And we'll see sunshine Wednesday morning mixing with some clouds by the afternoon. It's hot and still humid, highs 90 to 95. Then on Thursday, it's a partly sunny sky, highs in the low 90s. Friday looks sunny with temperatures holding in the 80s. I'm meteorologist Bob Cox in the WTIC Weather Center.
All right, 85 right now in Hartford. Down day so far for the markets. Dow's down 127 points. NASDAQ's down 357. And the S&P is off 48. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hi, this is Eric Hogarth, Certified Financial Planner from Money Wisdom. Get the answers to your retirement questions at our free educational dinner workshop. Reserve your seat today to learn about different strategies to maximize your retirement income, ways to reduce your lifetime tax obligation, and much more. Text WORKSHOP to 800-705-1232. That's WORKSHOP to 800-705-1232.
Johnson Brunetti is a marketing name for the businesses of JB Capital and JN Financial. Investment advisory services offered through JB Capital, LLC. Insurance products offered through JN Financial, LLC.
Life takes unexpected turns, doesn't it? Divorce, the loss of a loved one, a personal injury, losing your job. Suddenly you're searching for someone new you can trust to guide you through. But what if you didn't have to start over? What if your legal team already understood you? At BPS Lawyers, we're more than just lawyers. We're a full-service law firm that's been part of this community since 1977. BPS Lawyers, your lawyers for life. Visit bpslawyers.com or call 860-CALL-BPS. Nick Painderis is responsible for the content of this ad.
Escape to casual luxury at Margaritaville Resort Cape Cod, the perfect island-inspired getaway in the heart of Hyannis, Massachusetts. Families will love making waves at Fins Up Water Park, while couples can slow down at the Saint Somewhere Spa, pure tropical bliss. And when the sun goes down, savor coastal flavors and ice-cold drinks at Landshark Bar and Grill. Whether you're chasing thrills or chill, your slice of paradise is waiting. Book your escape today at MargaritavilleResortCapeCod.com.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by Ethos.
People are living longer, and that extra time could put extra strain on couples who've been married for decades.
Divorce is one of the biggest challenges we face as certified financial planners, and that's for any age, but especially for older adults.
Financial planner Ed Jertson says you can start with a low-cost legal process that involves a lack of billable attorney hours.
Try to make this as best as you can a business transaction and not personal.
I'm Rob Hart.
If you own a business, you've heard it all. From fast funding to easy approvals, everyone says the same thing. LendSeek is different. We show you what you actually qualify for. LendSeek's AI-enabled platform matches you with funding options with no guesswork. up to $5 million in as fast as 24 hours. If you've been in business over a year, doing at least $50,000 per month, apply for free with zero out-of-pocket costs and access to over 100 lenders. Start ready, stay ready. Lendseek.com. LENDSEEK.com.
With the high price of new and used cars today, many drivers are choosing to keep their vehicles a lot longer. But with the average car now over 12 years old, most manufacturers' warranties have expired. I'm Danica Patrick. If your car is out of warranty, a single trip to the mechanic could cost you thousands. That's why smart drivers choose Endurance. If your vehicle is less than 20 years old, no matter the mileage, Endurance could have your car covered for the drivetrain, electrical, AC, transmission, and more. And Endurance is with you every step of the way, from filing a claim to paying the mechanic of your choice directly. And your rate won't go up no matter how many claims you file. Call Endurance now and choose the plan that fits your budget. Act now and get 1 year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value free.
For your fast free quote, call 800-291-0342. 800-291-0342. 800-291-0342.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio.
Reese is on the radio. Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah! What's going on? Hello, all of my scallywags, nutmeggers, conversationalists all across the fruited plain, and more importantly, you haters. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080. I have an echo going on here somewhere. I'll figure it out. It's a pleasure to be here, as always, and, we came here to rock 'em, sock 'em, as we always do. I want to say hello to my new friends over at Lola's. The lovely ladies over there in Plainville. They're right next door, Roland, to the ice cream parlor, the ice cream store that you hit me to LaCroix. They're in that same little strip mall right next door there. Have you ever been there to the Italian restaurant?
Yeah, I know Lola's.
Lola's,
I'm not an Italian guy like that.
No, really. I didn't have Italian food there because I'm taking Roseanne there for the Italian food. I just had a turkey club there because I was going there before I was going to a meeting. But they were very kind there, and they hooked me up with a nice little Lola's shirt. I love it when they give me the employee shirts to wear like I'm an employee. So I'm rocking it today. And I asked the woman there, I said, look, I'm only asking you because I believe you should only ask someone a question who is qualified to give you a yes. Are you qualified to give me a yes? And she's like, depends on what the question is. And I said, can I have a T-shirt to wear on Monday? She said, ask no more. She came out and got me two, one for Roseanne and one for myself, and I promised her I'd wear it today. So tell the folks over in Plainville at Lola's, I kept my promise.
Yeah, I think they get a lot of business, though.
They do. You got to make a reservation there.
Yeah.
Oh, you can damn well bet you got to make a reservation there. And they got a party room. I think they had a woman who was celebrating, I think, an 89th or a 90th birthday in the next room. And it was lively over there. Everybody was dressed so nice. And they were busy as all get out. And I walked in. I was like, can I probably just grab something to eat? I felt weird being one person at a table. And I said, you know what? I'll sit at the bar. No problem. And I did. And I sat next to a lovely young lady who told me to try the garlic hummus.
Uh-huh. I
had to be sold on it because I don't like hummus, but it was actually really good. She said, we won't call it hummus. We'll just call it a garlic dipping sauce. But I tried it. It was good. It was good. I just wanted bread with olive oil. When I go to an Italian restaurant, I want bread with olive oil.
I like that too.
Yeah, that's my favorite. But they were nice enough to get me a T-shirt, so I promised them I would rock it. All because of a guy by the name of Richard, who hangs out there a lot. And Richard was there one day when Rosanna went there to go check it out after another listener drove past us when we were at LaCroix and said, "Are you Reese?" And I went, "Yeah." And he was like, "Are you Roseanne?" And we're like, "Yes." And, "Well, we're going to Lola's. You should check them out one time." So we went to go check them out. And this guy, Richard, was there sitting at the bar. And he looked at me right in the face and said, "Are you Reese on the radio?" I went, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, you got to come to this place." So I did. So Richard, look, I got a T-shirt showing you some love right there. Yeah, exactly. Just killing 2-3 birds with one stone. I've also got my buddy Dana's hat on from Stadium 15, which I'm going to be doing a live event from there real soon. In fact, we're going to be probably doing something weekly there as well, kind of a special podcast. I'll explain later on in this summer to explain that. What else we got going on? Oh, by the way, I'm a big proponent. Are you into T-shirts at all, Roland?
Yeah, I love
Is that your thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So
That's all I wear.
That's all you wear, T-shirts, no matter what the season, right?
Yeah, well, I'll have a hoodie in the wintertime.
Okay.
Okay. It's a T-shirt on under.
So what would you?
I like T-shirts and hoodies.
You like T-shirts and hoodies. Okay, good. I don't like hoodies. I'm not a hoodie guy, but I love T-shirts. So I'm going to make a plea to everyone. I'm going to talk about it throughout. If you have a local business with a T-shirt, I wear 10 Mains T-shirts. Now you see Lola's. Who else? The Manchester Road Race. I wear that T-shirt a lot. If you've got a business that has a T-shirt and you want me to check out, you're an extra large guy, right?
2XL.
2XL. Okay, so bring one for Roland, and I will be happy to take a picture with your company or whatever, designer T-shirt or hoodie for Roland. It may be a T-shirt if you don't have a hoodie, but he'll wear a T-shirt anyway. And send them here to the station at WTIC. Can we send it here as a mailer? We can give the address, right?
Sure.
Yeah. 10 Executive Drive in Farmington, Connecticut. If you have a T-shirt you want Roland and I to rock and put on social media, we'd be happy to show you some love. Just because, we don't have enough T-shirts. I'm not kidding. I've got at least 200 T-shirts. 200. And I bet every time I go into, it doesn't matter if it's a Walmart or if it's a Target, if there is a T-shirt that I will pick it up. But there are some that I won't wear. I won't wear a Snoopy T-shirt, like that kind of thing. It's got to be something, I won't wear a lot of bands either. But if it's a T-shirt I think is cool, I'll put it on. But I like company T-shirts because those are, they support local businesses. So if you've got one, send it here, 10 Executive Drive in Farmington, Connecticut. You can just look up WTIC and just say, "Attention, Reese on the radio," and send it down here. One for me and one for Roland. You got to bring one for Roland in order for it to count. All right? And, of course, tell the folks over at Lola's that we said hello, and they can look up online.
That was my, believe it or not, I like the character on Dexter. Her name was Lola. She was a killer, too, but I know that's kind of crazy to say, but
Dexter is that HBO murder.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was killing. He was only killing bad
guys. Yes. So no, I know he was an anti-hero.
It's still murder though.
Yeah. How about P&G firearms? Of course I will, Lori. I'll wear those. It doesn't matter if you got a local business. I'll rock it. Speaking of local, I try really, really hard not to get up in arms about certain things, but sometimes they are beyond my control. And I want people to understand this, that I don't mean any malice in this. Is that you have to understand you're never going to get me to care about what you think of me if you don't like my show and if you don't like me or the things that I do. I'm never going to care. But my audience does. And it offends them sometimes, and they're always approaching me and saying, "Reese, this was said and that was said. Are you ever going to address it?" And I almost feel like, do I have to address them or do you want me to address you? And I finally figured, you know what? I don't have to address them. So I'm going to address you. Those of you who are offended by things that are said about my journalism, about my tactics, about what I do on this show. And I want to explain to you why it will never get to me. And it doesn't bother me at all. Now, let me lay out what I'm talking about here. Okay. So I heard the term shock jock has been used in reference to me and others, my cohorts, guys like Mark from West Hartford, Mark Walsh. And I'll tell you that even if guys who have been called those things, if it affects them, they should not. And I want them to take a page from my book here. What has been revealed in this calling of names by people in the media, the objective is to shame you out of doing what they can never do. They can never do it. Now, this is one of those moments where I say, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. But if it does and it stings, it's probably because it's true. Larry King was Larry King because of who he could get on the show and have these interviews with. Everyone went on the Larry King show because he had a huge audience. But why did he have the huge audience? Was it because Larry King was some incredible interviewer? Was he this charismatic dude that could draw things out of the subject? No. Larry King was a character. He wore suspenders and the glasses, and he had a gravelly voice. But he wasn't really the thing. He was a character in all of it. He was a bit player in a large production. The star is the star. Now, Larry King would have been probably bigger than that if indeed Larry King was like the director Hype Williams or Steven Spielberg, for that matter. If he could turn even the most boring person into a star just by interviewing him. That he could turn that interview into something so compelling that the person he was interviewing, the average schmo, would be incredible. But he wasn't. Larry King was only Larry King because of who went on the show. Larry King talks to Jerry Seinfeld. Larry King talks to Samuel L. Jackson. Larry King talks with George Clooney. The star is the star. He's just a guy. That's it. Same thing with guys like Robin Leach. What was the star? The location or the celebrity he was covering. Here's Olivia Newton-John in the south of France. This week on Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. You went there to see, hey, what's Olivia Newton-John doing in the south of France? What's that champagne she's drinking? Dom Perignon, 1946. Those were the stars. And there are a lot of people in this business who are stars because of their access. And they will never kick over that apple cart, that meal ticket. But then you have to ask the question, how is that person relevant to you? Now, if you are just entertained by who the guest can get or who the host can get, well, let's see who the host is going to have this week. If that's what you're into, hey, bravo. I got nothing against that. Holla. Congratulations. Man, you've got his phone number. He's coming on the show. You guys are best friends. You guys went on vacation together. Whoop-de-doo. I'm not hating on you. I don't care. That's your lane. Play in your lane. Stay the F up out of mine. If what I do offends you or bothers you, tell me what it's got to do with you and what you do. It has nothing to do with you at all. It's my lane. I won't get the invites to the parties. I will never be asked to hobnob with the big folks. Why would you be concerned about what I do? Why? What I do is what I do. If it makes me an outcast, it makes me an outcast. So what? Let me do me. I don't care about who you are. I'm never, ever dumped on anybody who is craving the access. Do you? What, you want me to produce your show too? I don't. I have no reins over that. But when you come after me, for what? Some of it is about this, and it's real simple.
Well, if I was over there at WTIC, I would do it this way.
You're not here. Get here, then do that. But you're not. And hey, I can't stay here forever. That's just how things go, and I totally appreciate that. You don't think I rub some elbows? Sometimes you don't think that I kind of tick off a couple of people here and there? Oh, this guy. Why does he have to do it this way? Yes, I understand. But I have a goal. All you have to do is ask, what's your goal? Here, let me tell you. Here's my goal. Okay? I serve the people who listen to this program. If you've noticed that it's grown, there's a reason for that. Because I'm doing it the way that I'm doing it. That's simple. It works. Of course it works. I know how it works. So I do the thing that works. So what are you criticizing? You're criticizing something that works? You're criticizing something that people want to be a part of? That's not critique. That's jealousy. You shouldn't be. Do your thing. Keep doing it. And I'll do mine. I'll never critique you for what you do. Now, I know you're going to continue to critique me and you're going to say things about me and you'll talk all that mess, but that's okay. Listen. Irrelevance means no one's talking about you. To talk about me is bringing attention to me. It means I'm on your radar. It means I'm seeping in. And nothing is better than having real estate for free. I love every bit of it. Every time you utter my name or you think about me, I'm loving it. If you really want to do me damage, act like I'm not even here. Deem me irrelevant. But good luck with that. You can try. God bless you. All of you. I do this for them, not for you. Okay? That's all it is. You do you for yours. My audience is asking for what I'm doing. And they said no one's done it for a long time. You guys left the gate wide open. And I'm kicking through it. Stay cool. We'll be back. More news, more views when we return. It's Reese on the radio.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. A question I get all the time is how did we become the largest injury firm in the world? We have over 1,000 lawyers in all 50 states and close to 6,000 coworkers. Our call center is on duty 24/7. You can reach us at any time at forthepeople.com. But the real reason is we won a lot. When you visit our website, go to our verdicts and settlements. There you will see what our clients were offered and what they were awarded at trial. All those verdicts help us resolve many cases fairly and early. You see, nothing beats reputation. The insurance industry knows who we are. We even have insurance adjusters call us for representation because they know too. We've made it easy. On your mobile device or computer, go to forthepeople.com and we will get busy. It's that easy. Call today. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Injured? Dial #law Nicholas Russo, 157 Church Street, New Haven, 06510.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 2:30. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. 2 juveniles are facing murder charges in connection with the shooting deaths of 2 others at a Waterbury nightclub earlier this month. 22-year-old Trayvon Dunbar and 18-year-old Zanaya Dawkins were shot at LA 42 Club on July 5th. Police say the suspects were apprehended in New Britain and face additional charges face additional charges in addition to the 2 murder charges that they've been hit with. Suspect shot by police last night in Manchester. Officers were called to a domestic incident. The 18-year-old reportedly armed with a knife. He was taken to the hospital for treatment. A teen is dead after an incident on Crystal Pond in Eastford this weekend. Witnesses say the 15-year-old paddleboarder went into the water, was rescued by a Good Samaritan on Sunday. She later died at Day Kimball Hospital. Federal immigration agent has fatally shot a motorist in the town of Bidford, Maine. It's the second time in a week that ICE officers have used deadly force. Homeland Security Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen says the agent opened fire Monday after the man tried to use his vehicle as a weapon against agents who were pursuing him for deportation. President Trump says the U.S. is reinstating that blockade on the Strait of Hormuz and will charge other ships for safe passage. Made that announcement in a social media post today after another exchange of fire between the U.S. and Iran. And reaction continues over the sudden death of South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham. He died Saturday night at the age of 71. Senator Richard Blumenthal says that while he and Graham agreed on some issues like supporting Ukraine, they didn't always see eye to eye.
Vehement and vigorous arguments over other policies. He was a supporter of the war in Iran, which I have vigorously opposed. He believed in the Trump tax cuts, which I staunchly voted against. He was a supporter of the SAVE Act, which I regard as an abomination.
But Blumenthal says it was Graham's humor and love for public service that allowed them to get along well. WTIC News Time, 2:32. And let's check the WTIC Weather Center forecast. Here's meteorologist Bob Cox.
Temperatures this afternoon in the 80s under a mix of sun and clouds. There could be a shower in a couple of spots with a mid-level trough moving across the area, but most of the time we're dry. Winds out of the southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour, a few higher gusts. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 65 to 70. Sunny, breezy, hot, and humid tomorrow, highs in the mid-90s. The heat index reaching 100 in the afternoon. A heat advisory goes into effect at 11 a.m. Clear to partly cloudy and muggy Tuesday night, lows in the 70s. A mix of sun and clouds Wednesday. Hot and still fairly humid. The heat advisory continues till 8 p.m. Wednesday evening. Highs 90 to 95. I'm meteorologist Bob Cox in the WTIC Weather Center.
Dow is down 167 points. The Nasdaq's down 384 and the S&P is off 55. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
If you own a business, you've heard it all. From fast funding to easy approvals, everyone says the same thing. LendSeek is different. We show you what you actually qualify for. LendSeek's AI-enabled platform matches you with funding options with no guesswork. Up to $5 million in as fast as 24 hours. If you've been in business over a year, doing at least $50,000 per month, apply for free with zero out-of-pocket costs and access to over 100 lenders. Start ready, stay ready. LendSeek.com. LendSeek.com.
If the amazing regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics provided relief for former pro football player Bobby Carpenter, imagine the potential for your aching joints.
So my knee had been bothering me for a while. I played football for a number of years. I looked at talking to some doctors when I need to potentially have surgery, and I decided hey, let's check out QC Kinetics. I go in there and they look at the knee. Hey, here's the program that we can put you through.
That treatment takes your body's own healing properties and concentrates them at the root of the pain. No surgery or downtime.
The best part was there's no recovery until one day I felt like, hey, this feels like my old self again. I feel better. It's helped me. It's helped my dad. Hopefully it will help you in the same way. My message to them is do not wait. So you can go out and play golf and do the things that you love and enjoy.
Take it from Bobby Carpenter. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 860-440-PAIN. That's 860-440-PAIN. 860-440-PAIN.
Hartford, we've got a problem. Home care is in crisis and there aren't enough caregivers to meet the demand. So if you've got a loved one with Medicaid who needs care, don't wait. Freedom Care will help you get care at home from someone you already trust. A family member or friend who lives with you and can get paid to help with everyday needs like meals, medication, bathing, and mobility. If you have Medicaid, it's 100% free to you. No waiting lists. Just real care from your people right now. Freedom Care handles it all. Training, payroll, and support. So you can stay safe and comfortable at home. And your caregiver gets paid tax-free after every shift, guaranteed. With 97% satisfaction and over 150 million hours of care delivered, Hartford families are already making the switch to care at home. Take care of your own and get paid with Freedom Care. Call 860-530-5203. That's 860-530-5203. Call now. 860-530-5203. 860-530-5203.
Fan of WTIC? Then do us a favor. Download the...
That was weird. Did it just die on you? Yeah, it just faded out. Yeah, that was weird as hell. Anyway, we're back. Reese on the radio. Right here. Robert was in the chat room. He says, what the heck was that opening about? I have to give you a little bit of a backstory here to understand this. So when I go out into the public to question the people who are in elected office, this came from the audience making complaints about a left-wing bias in the body politic of Connecticut and no one asking tough questions. Only waiting till around election time to sort of have some scrutiny of those who are in elected office. But in other times, kind of being laissez-faire about issues that bothered you or were issues that were affecting you. You didn't really feel represented. And I got here, in fact, before I got here, and I said, folks, you got to stop with the complaining. You have to do something. You have to encourage these street reporters like Mark Walsh, Mark from West Hartford. You have got to put all of your effort behind him to get him out there so that he can be at these events. If he knows that he has your support, he is going to be dogged in his response to these stories by going out there, finding out who these politicians are, getting in good with people who are going to tell me where these politicians, or tell him where these politicians are, and he's going to be there on the ground level asking the tough questions and posting them on X so he could be your alternative media source. And when I got here, that was the first person I gravitated to. Mark from West Hartford. Hey, this guy's on the street. I need him in my camp. And he was even reluctant. Why? Because he knew that a lot of these guys in the business were kind of just using his stuff, but wouldn't even bother to give him credit. Not that he cared, but they were doing it so almost half-assed. He had every right to be ticked off. And so I told him, and he didn't trust me. He thought I was going to be like everybody else. Yeah, sure. Trust but verify. Totally agree with that. And when I tell you, if I told you behind the scenes how much we fought, and I never once, when I say fought, it wasn't like I was calling him names. It was like, you're a jerk, blah, blah. I simply told him, dude, I'm on your side. I know you don't trust me, but you're going to have to get there, and I will help you. But I'm not going to crap on you. I'm not going to attack you publicly. I'm not going to do any of that. You can say whatever you want about me, but I'm loyal to you because I'm a loyal person. If I tell you I want you on my team, I tell you I want you in my camp, I mean it. I'm not going to go fickle on you because I'm not. That's not my style. And sure enough, right now, Mark and I, thick as thieves. But it's the process, and I appreciate his process. He had everything in the world to lose by giving me a shot. And I wanted him, literally, I wanted to work with him. Right? And in order to do that, I had to prove my worth. He's been here longer. He's got more skin in the game than I do. And I understood that. I couldn't take my platform and say, well, I'm the guy on WTIC. I don't need you. No. I understand his value, and he has value. And I tell these reporters right to his, and Mark will tell you, I tell these reporters right there, dude, get to know this guy. He's got more scoops and got more connections than you do. You better start using him. He's an asset. But now, what is the issue here? Nobody wants to do the hard work. Why? Simple. Because the powerful have the power. Let me explain. Before I got here, there was a story I was trying to get into the middle of. And I got into a conversation with someone in news, currently. And they kept telling me about this person that I needed to speak to that used to be in the newsroom. Talk to this person, you'll know what we're talking about. Talk to this person, they'll tell you their experience. I said, okay. Kept trying to contact them, couldn't get them. They knew what it was about. They were reluctant to speak to me. They wanted to make sure that they had my confidence that I would never reveal who they are. So, of course, I stand by that. But I said, I'm still telling the story. I'll just omit the names. They said, fine. This really happened. Every part of it is true. And if you ask anybody in any newsroom, they'll realize that they told me the story. They started me investigating this story, and they'll know that I am not lying. Because they were the ones who hit me to this. So a reporter is out on the scene, and there is a scandal. And a reporter has the scoop. And a reporter has the subject, has line of sight. The reporter grabbed their microphone, ran over to the subject, and asked tough questions, very important tough questions about said scandal. It was legitimate journalism. It was not gotcha. It was good journalism. And the subject was there, and they needed to be asked. Well, the subject didn't like being asked. And the subject made an issue of it. So much of an issue, they didn't call that reporter's office. No. They came down to the office and went to the journalist's boss and dragged the journalist into an office and made the journalist apologize to the politician. Yeah. And I'm listening to that story. But here's what makes it crazier. That person doesn't even work in news anymore, and they still are afraid to even mention it or to even speak up. Do an interview about it, expose it. Nope. Still scared. Don't want anybody to know their name. Now, to then be told that when I go and I confront the governor on a legitimate question, that people refer to my style as shock jock, when all I did was exactly what this, we're talking about journalist, a person who went to a school of journalism, has a degree in journalism, did to a public official and was pretty much told to apologize by their boss. I did the same thing. Asked them, and what do they call me? A shock jock? Now, why would they do that? I know exactly why. It's because what you're trying to say is we don't do that around here, Reese. We don't question the powerful. We need them on our shows and our podcasts. We don't do that here. And instead of just doing you attack me, which in essence, why don't you just say what you really mean? Just go away. Just say, go away, Reese. Just go away. We don't need your kind on the air doing this. So we'll demean you. Right? We'll demean your style. We'll call it that. What I call it is, I don't know, questioning the powerful. Strange how I would think of that. And then hear these people openly say, and that's the weird part. They're not even saying that part quietly or hidden somewhere. They're saying it openly. Well, we have to have access. We just can't do things like that. You know, if we can't get into the rooms, it's just, we're done for. If we don't get an opportunity to interview these people on one-on-one and come on our shows, we just can't do things like that. What? Okay. No one asked you to. No one is asking you to. In fact, no one asked me to. I've been doing this for 20 years. This has always been my style. Going up to people who are in power or powerful people in any aspect and going up to them and asking them tough questions and getting the answers. I do it with respect. I don't insult or demean. Well, when I come here on the show, maybe. But when I'm in front of them, no, I've asked them very straightforward questions. You've seen the videos, you know that. But to call that what I do is, am I walking in on a pogo stick with clown makeup asking them stupid questions about their cat? Shock jock? Just say that you're a coward. Or just say this isn't your lane. Just, again, stay in yours. Good journalism. Mandrick said, good journalism in Connecticut? No need for that. Yeah, I personally don't care. Call it what you want. You can demean it all you want. I don't care. You can't do what I do because you need the access. I don't. And maybe that's foreign to you too. Right? To hear somebody come on the air and just say, not your friend, not your buddy, not your pal. Don't invite me to your parties. I'm not interested in going. I hate dressing up. Putting on some monkey suit and having to share light banter with folks. I do that often enough. You know, they invite me to some of these things, the Republican events, and I go and I stay for about an hour, and then I go. Nothing against the folks there, but I'm invited, so I really want to show respect. Thank you for, you support the show, I'll support you. It's a give and take. I get it. That's why I do it, but I don't stay long. Many people, in fact, I went to one on Saturday, and someone sent me a text. It was like, well, gee, I hope I didn't offend you. I was like, no, just, I had some other things that I had to do, and my phone wasn't working, and I just had to go. But I'm there. I'm not a celebrity, as many people try to suggest I am. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not trying to get free food everywhere, or, give everybody my autograph. Hey, do you know me? No. I love what I do. I inform the public. I entertain to some degree. I make you laugh. I make you smile. Sometimes we make you cry. I really, really get my job, and I really, really love my job. But for those who don't get it, just stay in your lane. Stay out of mine. Okay? If you're really, really all that concerned, here's what I would say. Just beat me. That's all. That's all. Get a gimmick. Right? If what I'm doing is a gimmick, get a gimmick. Get one of y'all. Okay, I got one. Get your own. No, brother, you got to get your own. Remember that commercial? All right, I got to take a break. We'll be back. More news, more views, and we'll tease our guest coming up soon. It's Reese on the radio.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-568-6533. 800-568-6533. 800-568-6533.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits. Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. Coming up on the program at 4 o'clock, we have Dr. Michael Goldstein, who he's got a primary election coming up on August 11th. We'll talk to him a little bit about that, but he is in the running to go up against Jim Himes. And tomorrow on the program, we actually have to make sure to confirm that this is happening, because even I'm a little shocked by this. But running against John Larson, Luke Bronin will be on the program tomorrow at 4 o'clock. He'll be sitting right across from me in the WTIC studios. So we'll talk to him. You do not want to miss that interview tomorrow. Well, you don't want to miss any interview here. But tomorrow, that's going to be an interesting one. I always tell folks, tell your Democrat friends who are in office, you don't have to be afraid of this show. You just have to, come on by, answer a few questions. We'll get along with one another. You might end up liking me. Democrats, every time a Democrat walks out of here, they go, I really like that guy. Wouldn't you think? It's absolutely stunning. I'm an all-around nice guy. Or as Roseanne would say, I'm a freaking delight. I am. There's some people I just can't be nice to. I just can't. And I know you know who they are. I don't have to mention Christoph's name every time. That some people are beyond reaching. It's just, by the way, did you hear this rumor? I don't know if you heard this. And I'm only spreading it because it's funny. Not that I believe it's true. So Adam 12 was with me in New Haven. Was it Friday? Yeah. He believes this. I think it's a conspiracy. So we were at the New Haven Green, and we were waiting for people to attend. We were waiting for Chris Murphy to arrive. And we were told that Chris Murphy's plane was running late, but Richard Blumenthal would be there and Ned Lamont would be there. To which we said, really? Oh, we didn't even know that. We were here because Chris Murphy, his team put out a press conference that he was going to be there for LEAP, for the kids, reading books, whatever. So maybe we get like 5 minutes with him. Anyway. So the governor's there, fine. And all of a sudden we're looking out on the road and we see motorcycle cops with an SUV driving by. And the first thing we thought was, oh, that must be the governor. But then we looked, and the governor was on the grounds with us. So we're still looking, and I'm going, oh. And the detail that was the detail that was there with the governor was a detail that we had seen for well over an hour, sitting at an SUV. I mean, right there. So the governor was in his own SUV that was parked right in the corner, waiting there with another police officer. And it was outside. He was talking to the police officer. It was a whole thing. So anyway, the governor was already there when this motorcade with two police officers drive by in an SUV. And so I'm saying, well, who the heck was that? And Adam thinks that was Murphy's motorcade. That Murphy had a police escort. He believes that they saw us standing there. And they said, nah, that's all right. And drove off. I don't know. I don't believe him. But he's swearing by it. But Chris Murphy was in town. And he went to some senior center. I think he went to some Shady Acres to go play ping pong. But they swear he was there. I don't know. I am not one to say, he's scared of me. I'm not even going to say it. But Adam is certain of it. And I'm like, as soon as he said it to me the other day, I think it was Friday night or Saturday or something. I was like, stop it. He goes, no, I'm serious. I think that was it. I'm like, come on, whatever. That guy's not afraid of me. None of these people are afraid of me. And if they are, knock it off. What do you think's going to happen when you see me? I'm not... Are you kidding me? I would never embarrass my wife. Or myself, for that matter. What do you think? I'm some hood? I'm always going to be respectful. Always. Until, of course, you're not respectful. Then it's something different. But I will always be respectful. You get out of line, I got to get out of line. That's just the way it is. I don't know. I don't know, Lori. I'm with you, too. I don't understand why he would need protection. I don't know. Oh, man, top of the hour is coming. John Silva is back. He is in the WTIC newsroom. We'll be back. It's Reese on Radio.
This is WTIC News Talk 1080 with Brian and Company in the morning, Reese on the radio in the afternoon, and news around the clock. WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford and Odyssey Station.
It's 3 o'clock, 86 degrees in Hartford with a heat advisory set to go into effect tomorrow. We'll have the forecast details from the WTIC Weather Center coming up. In Waterbury, police have arrested 2 juveniles in connection with a double fatal shooting at a city night spot this month. It was July 5th that shots rang out at the LA 42 nightclub, leaving 22-year-old Trevon Dunbar and 18-year-old Zanaya Dawkins dead. Suspects were picked up in New Britain. In addition to murder, they're facing a litany of charges, including conspiracy, reckless endangerment, unlawful discharge, and other weapons offenses. Waterbury police expect to have more to say on the case during a Tuesday news conference at police headquarters. Manchester police say one of their officers shot a suspect during an apparent domestic incident late Sunday night. Here's WTIC's Morgan Cunningham.
Officers were dispatched to a residence in town just before 11 at night. A caller reported an 18-year-old was armed with a knife during the incident. Police arrived to find the suspect in the roadway. It was during that encounter that one of the officers discharged their weapon, hitting the suspect. That person was treated at the scene and then transported to an area trauma center. The Connecticut State Police Central District Major Crime Squad arrived to process the scene. The case has since been turned over to the Office of Inspector General. Standard procedure when an officer discharges their firearm. Morgan Cunningham, WTIC 1080 News.
President Trump says he wants Lindsey Graham's sister Darlene to replace him in the Senate. Graham died suddenly over the weekend. South Carolina's governor is expected to make the announcement later today. Correspondent Jay O'Brien with more on how Graham is being remembered on Capitol Hill.
His Capitol Hill colleagues remembering their friend. Even many Democrats, from former President Joe Biden to Delaware Senator Chris Coons, who dined with Graham on his 71st birthday.
And while they shared more disagreements than not, Senator Richard Blumenthal explains the secret Graham had when working across the aisle on issues like Ukraine.
He showed a kindness to people we met along the way, people who were on staff of other senators or in the State Department or just people helping us on air travel. He had a sense of compassion individually, even if, he was against SNAP benefits or whatever on a broad scale.
State Department of Public Health is reporting an increase in the number of cases of cyclosporiasis. That's the foodborne bacteria that leads to diarrhea, cramps, and other maladies. DPH says 35 cases have been confirmed here as of today, nearly double the number reported last year. The bacteria has turned up in 17 states, including Connecticut. DPH says illness typically begins within a week of exposure. Healthy people recover without treatment, although those with underlying health conditions may require antibiotics. Health experts say it's best to thoroughly wash produce. U.S. outbreaks have been linked to bagged salads, fresh cilantro and basil, as well as raspberry, snow peas, and green onions. Shooting in the town of Biddeford, Maine, involving an ICE agent and another person.
There are still so many questions here, including who that individual was, what the specific federal immigration agency was, what the circumstances of this shooting exactly were. It, of course, comes in the context of a number of other fatal shootings involving federal immigration authorities. Just recently, that shooting in Houston, a man was killed there. And, of course, the two fatal shootings of two American citizens, Renee Good and Alex Preddy in Minnesota, which caused substantial backlash to the president's immigration policy.
Correspondent Olivia Rubin. State Attorney General William Tong says he has consumers in mind as Connecticut and 11 other states sue to block Paramount's merger with Warner Brothers. Tong says Paramount will take on $78 billion of debt in the deal, so it'll cut jobs and the production values of your favorite shows. He says Paramount will also look to cut how much it pays cable companies, and that could lead to blackouts.
And they'll get into fights. And those fights will result in blackouts of CBS, TNT, and TBS. What does that mean? Can you imagine a blackout during the tournament and our inability to watch UConn women and men play for the national championships? No, really, for us here in Connecticut.
Says the merger will do everything from raise ticket prices at the movie theater and slash independent journalism. WTIC News Time is 3:05. Checking traffic. We should be picking up most of the afternoon road work if we have not already. No reports of any crashes on our local highways. We could be traveling okay in the Hartford area along 84, 91, Route 2, 291. 384 all look to be traveling well. Let's check in with Bob Cox. He's got the WTIC Weather Center forecast.
During the afternoon, we'll continue to see sunshine mixing with a few clouds at times. Can't rule out a shower popping up in one or two locations as a mid-level trough moves across the area. We'll see highs in the low to mid-80s. Dew points are in the upper 50s and low 60s, so the humidity is still fairly comfortable, and winds southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour with a few higher gusts. Partly cloudy tonight, lows averaging 65 to 70. A heat advisory goes into effect at 11 a.m. Tuesday. That will continue through most of the day Wednesday. It's going to be sunny, breezy, hot, and humid tomorrow with highs in the 90s. The heat index probably reaches 100 tomorrow afternoon. A west to southwest breeze at 10 to 20 miles per hour with some higher gusts. Clear to partly cloudy and muggy Tuesday night, lows in the 70s. And we'll see sunshine Wednesday morning mixing with some clouds by the afternoon. It's hot and still humid, highs 90 to 95. Then on Thursday, it's a partly sunny sky, highs in the low 90s. Friday looks sunny with temperatures holding in the 80s. I'm meteorologist Bob Cox in the WTIC Weather Center.
All right, Dow's down 142. NASDAQ's off 364. S&P is down 51 points. Partly sunny, 87 degrees in Hartford. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Brian Jackman here for CertaPro Painters. You know, I love my home, but I did notice in the kitchen especially that scuffs, faded colors. I knew I needed to do something about it, so that's why I got in touch with CertaPro Painters. They can do something that not only protects your home, makes it look great, makes you happy to be in that space all the time. CertaPro Painters is dedicated to bringing fresh color to your home with quality craftsmanship. Check it out yourself so you can schedule that free estimate online right now at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
At Westside Care Center in Manchester, care is personal, specialized, and centered on every resident. Their experienced team provides advanced short-term rehabilitation, convenient on-site dialysis, and compassionate memory care in a warm, supportive environment. Whether recovering after a hospital stay or seeking long-term care, Westside combines clinical expertise with personalized attention to help every resident achieve the best possible quality of life. Westside Care Center. Specialized care close to home.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. I've been asked many times how Morgan & Morgan became the largest injury firm in the world. I think I know. When someone comes to us for an on-the-job injury, we have a huge workers' compensation practice. But many times we find a defective product that was responsible for that injury. Luckily for them, we have a product liability section headed by my son Mike. In addition to the comp case, there is a product case too. Other times, the injured worker is fired or harassed for bringing that claim. We have them covered. Our employment lawyers handle retaliation claims as well as wage theft and discrimination cases, and in some cases need to file for Social Security benefits. No problem. We became big for a reason. 30% of our new cases come as referrals from former clients. Hiring us is easy. Go to forthepeople.com on your mobile device or computer, or call Pound Law on your cell, pound 529. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial Pound Law.
Nicholas Russo, 157 Church Street, New Haven, 06510.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
All right, back, and don't forget, we've got Dr. Michael Goldstein running for the 4th Congressional District. He does have a primary against David Moresi, and Jonathan Goldstein, his son, is running for the 150th district, representative district here in Connecticut. Both of them will be on the program at 4 p.m. We'll talk to them about their campaigns. This one says, Russell says, Gulf Shrimp Company delivers seafood to Lola's. Once we restock T-shirt inventory, I will try to send 2. Also, you should give a shout out to LaCroix Ice Cream. I do all the time. Absolutely all the time. LaCroix Ice Cream. They love, it's so funny. I mentioned them at Lola's and it was almost as if they understood everything about LaCroix Ice Cream. We love them over there at LaCroix. Every time we go there, we talk about them, and they love the fact that we give them a shout out. People have walked into LaCroix and said, hey, Reese talks about you guys all the time. So we appreciate them, and they appreciate us. When this isn't, I'll put it this way. When we're in Plainville, we get ice cream there. When we're in other places, we get ice cream there. When we're in West Hartford, we go to AC's, right? So we go everywhere. Before anybody freaks out. The Connecticut Sentinel had a great article about a speech I gave on Wednesday. And I thank those folks for writing. They were there, apparently, for the speech. And this is something I want to really make sure that I echo from that article. I had prepared a speech, and then after a while, I just said, you know what, I don't want to do this. I don't want to read. It just seems so phony. And you know how I am. I like speaking from the heart. And I was sort of reflecting on just getting back from D.C. and talking about how much I love Connecticut. And the thing that has been weighing on my mind a lot about Connecticut is love. And in that instinct, I kind of let the spirit move me to just say, and I'll sort of summarize what I was talking about. There are a lot of people in Connecticut who always talk about the things that they hate. I hate the politicians here. I hate the politics here. I hate the taxes here. I hate that they do this. And I got to thinking about my divorces. Weird place to go, I know. But I was thinking about it. And I've thought about every marriage that ever failed. And no marriage has ever failed with the word love involved. Right? If you truly love someone, you'd fight for that, right? It's like if there's a love there, you just get that. When you know those couples who argue all the time, but it was like, man, if you really, if it's really that bad, why don't you just leave? And they go, I don't know, I just really love her. I just really do. Now, you might even think that that's crazy, right? That they always seem miserable, but when they say it from their heart, it's like, I don't know what it is, but I just love her. I'm willing to put up with the nonsense because I love her so much. I just don't want to lose her. And that's more important than anything. You can deal with the arguing, the fussing, and the fighting until it goes too far. Then you got to go. When you start to hate the person, you leave. But that's how that works. Usually when you hate something, you get rid of it. And that's why some people are so eager to leave, right? Because they hate it here. But if you love it, and truly I know they do, that's all you need to inspire you to fight for it. Like you would anything. You have to love it to fight for it. Isn't it that simple? Again, I was thinking about when Mary and I got divorced, I hated what she put me through. I hated what I put her through. I know she hated what I put her through. I was an awful person to her. She was an awful person to me. We hated that we treated each other. Did we love each other enough to stick it out? No, absolutely not. We were not good for each other at all. And when you hate something that bad, you got to let it go. But I know, especially for those who wish to fight, if you really love this place, you will fight for it. If you start at love, you will fight for it. And I said it during the speech, and I'm glad they put that part in the article. I need you to fight for Connecticut the way that you would run out into the street and stop a kid from running into oncoming traffic, because in essence, that's what's happening, right? The people who are in charge don't understand how business is run, how to keep businesses here, how to use the tax dollars they have to actually enrich people's lives instead of making it a welfare state. They don't know what they're doing. They are drunk drivers. That's a fact. And the metrics are there. You don't need another story. By the way, I've got plenty of people trying to spin it to say, no, it's not all that bad. It's actually doing really good. I'll talk about them later. I have those articles. Hartford Business Journal. It's so bad. It's so badly done. But anyway, I'll talk about it later. But it's like, seriously. You got to treat it that way. Like you want to protect this thing. There's a way for you to look at the world or look at Connecticut as its politics or its politicians. But I know you don't. And if you ingest all of the news media that's here, I feel like if everything in your life is about listening to the news and what the news has said, and then, yeah, you can grow a hatred for it. That's unfortunate. This is true. There is an unforced error in our media business in talking about how much it sucks and therefore turning people off to the place that they live. Why? Because that's what sells. Like no one's going to purchase the good news. It's not important to highlight that. You know, that's an offset. You know, you do that at the end of the program once you've filled them up with the murder, death, kill in the first 15 minutes of the show. Then you get to weather and traffic and you go, now this feel-good story, Bubby the turtle returned to the ocean. It's like, that's the kind of news. And of course, there are some people out there just like, we need to start focusing on good news. And then they go right back to the same thing. It's like, if it bleeds, it leads, because it has to be that way. But even if it has to be that way, you don't have to be that way. D.M. Livingston, who is the editor of the Waterbury Times, owner and editor of the Waterbury Times, yeah, that's his focus. Does he cover the horrible stuff that's going on? Yeah. He exposes the corruption? Hell yeah. But he is trying to put a very, very good face on Waterbury. How does he do that? By not just exposing the corruption or the bad things in there, but the people who care about getting rid of that. So there's a very good balance of that in doing the news. You got to highlight the people who are trying to get rid of that corruption, the superheroes, the heroes in your community. That's how that works. So there's a way to do this. But yes, unfortunately, the news media can drive the narrative so much home that you can look every day, drive through your neighborhood already with that stuff in the back of your head, you know? You drive in the back of your head, it's like, oh, it's just so corrupt here. Oh, it's just so violent here. Oh, it's just so dirty here. And not just, then you get into traffic. Oh, the traffic sucks here. Then it's road rage. Oh, that guy cut me off. Blah, blah, blah. And it just bleeds in. And then the love of the state, that's like, in the background, somewhere in a rear view mirror. All you see is the calamity and angst in front of you. I just can't deal with it. And then you move someplace else and you realize it's just as bad there. There is no grass is greener, folks. Just trying to tell you. But that being said, what I wanted to convey in that speech was just to say, look, man, I'm new here. Do I hate the traffic? Sure. Of course I do. But I don't let that get to me. Roseanne lets it get to her all the time, even when she's not driving, which is never. She's never driving. She will get upset about the traffic I have to endure, to which I respond, we're good. Calm down. Well, it's just driving stupid. Yeah, okay. There's nothing we can do about that. What am I going to go over there and give them driving lessons? Chill. We'll get there when we get there. I'd rather get there safe than to go through, destroy my day by being angry. I don't have time for that. Put on a Audible book or something. Go online. Watch your TikTok videos and get some laughter in you. It's a beautiful day. Look outside. Look at all the mountains and the trees. By the way, can I say this about Connecticut? I don't care what traffic jam I'm in. Oh, baby, just look out the window. I know you're used to them. After a while, you get used to them and you just look out the window and you just say to yourself, yeah, but I've seen that. I said a mountain range before. It's beautiful. Just look, I drive. There's this one part at the interchange where like Waterbury going into Bristol. There's that. And as soon as you get there, it's like on either side, it's just this mountain range. When you come down the hill, and then there's the quarry that's over on it, and they have the inside the mountain. You can see all the different colors. It's my favorite. It looks a little dirty, don't get me wrong, but I love seeing the colors of the rocks and the dirt and all that stuff. I love seeing it. Every time I make that turn going into Bristol on 84, every time I see it, I always love checking it out. Because I feel like it's going to change. Or, when I can see all the rock and then the grass, then the trees come in and seeing that change. We were driving to, where were we going? Meriden? Yeah, it was Meriden we were going to. And just watching that highway maneuver through the mountains, absolutely awestruck. Driving through the neighborhoods, looking at all the old colonial homes. I have never been ticked off at a traffic jam when I drive through here. Never. There's too much to look at. It is beautiful. These little Tony towns and people, just the communities. In fact, I didn't even experience this in Texas. There are some neighborhoods that are like that. They're like subdivisions that are kind of not, nice like that. But this is the only place where no matter where I am, if I get stuck in traffic, there's a long line, I got to, wait. Nope, just look left or right. It's beautiful. But anyway, back to my point. In order to save the state, you got to love it. So the only way you save anything is if you love it. If you hate it, there's no reason for it. I hear that from a lot of people. I know they're done. That's cool. But as I said on the show last week, before you go, just vote red. Go up to the Lime Rock area. It's beautiful. I heard it is, Mandrake. I heard it is. In fact, you're about the third person to mention that to me. It is. There's a place in Virginia that I used to go to near Manassas, and they were doing that, that digging, that quarry drilling, and it's very cavernous. It almost looks like kind of a mini Grand Canyon on the road. You could drive by it and look down. One, it's scary as hell because I'm afraid of heights, but it is majestic to look at. It is beautiful. Not yet, Michael B. I have not gone to the Railroad Museum in Thomaston yet. I should get to it because it's not that far. Thomaston at Christmas time. Okay. Cornwall Bridge, Kent Falls, Lori says. Do you see my point? You see what I mean? As I've said all the time. All you have to do is just mention something, and the love of Connecticut just comes out of the listener. Go check this out. Go see this. This is the stuff that you want to protect. This is the stuff that you love. I watched one of the candidates on Sunday. I forget her name, but she's a black woman in Hartford running as a Republican. And Adam, if you're listening, give me the young woman's name. She's got young children. And I remember she jokingly said, a Republican in Hartford? Who would have thunk? And a black woman to boot. But she's running there. And she said the same thing that I did. That she doesn't want to lose the place that she loves. She doesn't want to lose the place that she's teaching her children to love. She wants her children to stay. Because she knows what it's like everywhere else. She wants them to embrace their hometown. And when you hear somebody talk like that, that's encouraging. That message needs to be sent everywhere. By the way, regardless of your political stripe, everybody believes that about their home. There are things that you used to, you're comfortable with. So creature comfort, if you will. You have to fight for those things. And people, excuse me, texting me all the thank you, Sam the Man, just let me know. Nicole Kokorosco is the woman's name. She's in the 6th House District in Hartford, in West Hartford. Again, Nicole Kokorosco. Thank you, Sam, who's listening. I don't know what that is. Okay, that's something else. Okay, yeah. So people are telling me about this young woman, and she is a young mother who, again, black woman in Hartford, talking about loving living there, her children staying there, about how important that is. And you got to celebrate that. Let me go to Christine. Hold on, Christine. There you go. Hey, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. What's up?
Two things regarding your earlier what you were talking about. I think I've said this quote before, but I think you need a reminder.
Mm-hmm.
Great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. The mediocre mind is incapable of understanding the man who refuses to bow blindly to conventional prejudices and chooses instead to express his opinions courageously and honestly.
Thank you.
That's you.
Thank
and
you.
that was from Albert Einstein.
Ooh, okay.
And that's one of his great quotes. I use it all the time. It just hits it right, what you were just talking about.
Yes, ma'am.
And then the other thing regarding, so don't forget that, but regarding Connecticut, I've moved 17 times in my life. I've lived all over the country. And one time I was chatting with someone and I said, I've never been to the English countryside, but I think that this state, resembles that from where I've lived all over Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
And this lady comes past me, she goes, I have been to the English countryside, and you're right. It is beautiful, and their grass is not greener. I lived in the South, and you have to live at a place to really, everyone says, the South, the South. When you go and you live somewhere, you really get what, the whole picture.
Yeah.
But this state is worth fighting for.
I love it. I thank you for saying that. It
Yeah,
is.
so-
And again, as a newbie, I know I lived here before, but this is the first time I've ever been here this long on my own terms. And I got to tell you, it's just everything about it. And I really do. I commend folks like you and just everyone we've met when we're here. And regardless of, whether or not they know what I do or who I am, it's just people. I meet them all the time and we just sit and we talk, have a conversation. They have been absolutely welcoming in a way that I've never experienced before. And that's why I fell in love. I'm here. I feel like I'm a part of this thing.
Well, it's no different, and this is a beautiful thing that has just happened with the Europeans that have come to this country and shed the light of what we've been told, everything stinks, this is that. Now it's like, okay, we're really getting the reality of this whole country, let alone Connecticut. So just, think about that, what people see with the you can't see the forest for the trees, but then you can't see the forest even with the media telling you this and that. But
That's a good point.
This this is a great, Mark Levin had a great thing this past Saturday when he was talking about all the things we have here. We have so much. And one more thing, like even just this, when a preacher said once, we don't have to go to the grocery store. We get to go to the grocery store.
That's right. 100%.
All we have to do is go pick it up. We don't
That's
have
right.
to plant the seed, toil the soil, all of that. So it's all how you look at it. And I think people, it sometimes it takes people from somewhere else to shed the light on the truth.
Indeed.
But anyway,
Thank you, Christine.
you for taking my call, and don't forget that quote.
You got it.
All
I
right.
won't. Thank you. All right. Let's take a break. We'll be back. More news, more views when we return. It's Reese on the radio.
Have you ever felt like you were living just a B or B plus life? It's so dangerous to live that, more dangerous than a B minus or a C plus life, because when you're living a B or B plus life, you don't change it. You think it's good enough. Is it? I'm Susie Welch. I host a podcast called Becoming You. People think, okay, an A plus life is not available to me, but there is a way. We are all in the process of becoming ourselves. Listen to Becoming You wherever you get your podcasts.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At Northeast Men's Health, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combination therapies that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and to the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com. That's northeastmenshealth.com. Northeast Men's Health, advanced medical science to empower male performance.
And now, a WTIC news update.
Good afternoon, I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. In Waterbury, police have made 2 arrests in connection with a double fatal shooting at a city nightclub earlier this month. The shots rang out July 5th, LA 42. 22-year-old Trevon Dunbar and 18-year-old Zaniyah Dawkins were killed. Now, 2 juveniles are facing, in addition to murder, a litany of other offenses, including conspiracy, reckless endangerment, and a number of weapons charges. There's a news conference on all this at Waterbury Police Headquarters on Tuesday. Officer-involved shooting in Manchester. Police say they were called to a domestic incident on Sunday night. When they arrived, they found the 18-year-old suspect reported to have a knife outside the home. The officer fired, hitting the suspect. That person's in the hospital. Meantime, the state inspector general has rendered a decision on another officer-involved shooting in that town. Happened last year when Samuel Lee fled a traffic stop, nearly running over an officer. When stop sticks didn't work, Lee was struck in the hip by an officer's shot. The IG says the officer was justified in using deadly force to subdue the suspect. An East Hampton girl died over the weekend when she went into the water on Crystal Pond in Eastford. Encon police say the 15-year-old was on a paddleboard. A Good Samaritan pulled her ashore. She was transported to the hospital where she was later pronounced dead. President Trump says he wants Lindsey Graham's sister Darlene to temporarily replace him in the Senate. 71-year-old South Carolina Republican died suddenly over the weekend. The governor's expected to name that replacement perhaps as early as today. And a judge has ruled that President Trump's lawsuit against the IRS was improper under the law.
A U.S. district judge has rebuked President Trump's lawsuit against the IRS over his leaked tax returns, ruling it was an exercise in self-dealing filed for an improper purpose. She referred one of his attorneys for discipline. The lawsuit laid the groundwork for a settlement that granted Trump immunity from tax audits and created the now abandoned anti-weaponization fund. In her scathing ruling, Judge Williams says this lawsuit was not brought to vindicate rights. It was brought to manipulate the judicial process to pursue benefits unavailable in litigation. Of Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, who's preparing for his confirmation hearing Wednesday, Williams writes that his apparent capacity to speak for both plaintiffs and defendants demonstrates there was only one party whose interests were being represented throughout the case. I'm Jennifer King.
WTIC News Time 3:32. Here's Bob with the forecast.
Temperatures this afternoon in the 80s under a mix of sun and clouds. There could be a shower in a couple of spots with a mid-level trough moving across the area, but most of the time we're dry. Winds out of the southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour, a few higher gusts. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 65 to 70. Sunny, breezy, hot, and humid tomorrow, highs in the mid-90s. The heat index reaching 100 in the afternoon. A heat advisory goes into effect at 11 a.m. Clear to partly cloudy and muggy Tuesday night, lows in the 70s. A mix of sun and clouds Wednesday. Hot and still fairly humid. The heat advisory continues till 8 p.m. Wednesday evening. Highs 90 to 95. I'm meteorologist Bob Cox in the WTIC Weather Center.
Checking traffic in West Hartford, 84 eastbound between exits 41 and 43. You've got a crash there that blocks the right lane. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Is your vehicle's AC blowing hot air? Stay cool this summer with AC Pro. Right now, get a $20 O'Reilly gift card after rebate with the purchase of a select AC Pro refrigerant kit. Beat the heat with AC Pro at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Why should you hire America's largest injury law firm for your case? There's lots of reasons. Just like there's a reason millions of people called us last year in their time of need. When it comes to fighting for justice and compensation, millions of people across the country trust us to go to battle for them. We became the largest injury law firm in the world for a reason. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, for the people.com. Injured? Dial pound law.
Nicholas Russo, 157 Church Street, New Haven, 06510.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Life unfolds in ways you can never quite expect. A divorce, a death in the family, a personal injury. Each time you are left searching for someone new to trust. But what if you had a full-service law firm that knows you and a firm that can represent all your legal needs? With BPS Lawyers, you get more than a lawyer. You get a full-service law firm. Visit bpslawyers.com. BPS Lawyers, your lawyers for life. Proud full-service law partner of Yukon Athletics. Nick Payne-Dearis is responsible for the content of this ad.
This year, America celebrates 250 years. 2.5 centuries of courage, sacrifice, and family stories passed down from one generation to the next. Hi, I'm Nick Mako.
And I'm Adam Baselogger, founders of Legacy Box. Your family's piece of the American story is sitting in an attic or closet right now, trapped on aging VHS tapes, camcorder tapes, film reels, and fading photos.
Those boxes hold moments you can never recreate. Your wedding day, your children's voices when they were little, grandparents coming back to life on screen.
Over 2 million families have trusted Legacy Box. And we've just partnered with the USO to digitize fragile handwritten letters from World War II, helping preserve American history for future generations.
As America turns 250, remember that your family is a part of the American story. Preserving those voices, faces, and moments is a part of your responsibility to the next generation. Don't let them disappear on your watch.
Visit legacybox.com/radio for our amazing America 250 sale. That's legacybox.com/radio to save.
Brian Jackman here for CertaPro Painters. I don't know about you, but for me, I want to be able to trust the people that do work on my house. That's why CertaPro Painters could be perfect for you. They get the job done right because they take pride in what they do. And by the way, the painting is professional and all of it at the right price. When you choose CertaPro Painters, you're not just hiring a service, you're partnering with a local professional with over 70,000 5-star reviews. So schedule your free estimate today online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
When you've thrown over 4,000 innings like I have, you know joint pain isn't a maybe, it's a guarantee. For you, was it climbing ladders or too much heavy lifting? Hey, we're all in the same boat. But surgery, that was never my answer.
Baseball legend Roger Clemens knows there's a better way. That's QC Kinetics regenerative treatments that help your body heal itself. No scalpels, no fake fixes, just real relief.
What I love about QC Kinetics, these are the most respected medical pros in the country that specialize in non-surgical therapies to get you moving again.
Don't mask the pain, fix it. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation.
I trusted QC Kinetics. You should too.
Call QC Kinetics today and schedule your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 860-440-PAIN. That's 860-440-PAIN. 860-440-PAIN.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
WTIC News Talk 1080 is celebrating America's 250th birthday all month long. So we're asking, what does being American mean to you?
My ancestors were brought here not on their own will, but I'm here and I'm free and I'm happy to be an American. You know, benefits, liberty, I'm just greatness.
This American Moment is sponsored by Cussin Automotive. Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Hey, here's your friendly neighborhood Reese on the radio. Right now on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, back and live here on WTIC News Talk 1080. My guests have arrived. We'll talk to them in about a little more than 20, 25 minutes. We'll have them on the program. This is something I have to play this video because there are these folks who, I guess they're from some group called Canary Mission, and they are trying to warn people about the Democrat Socialists of America. And I am stunned that in this expose, they are forgetting something very key to all of this. And it's not something you folks don't know because we've talked about it often enough to know what's happening inside these young minds of mush. But here's the video. Again, it is a video against the DSA from a group called the Canary Mission.
It's no secret that the Democratic Socialists of America hate the Democratic Party.
I think we're all on the same page that we hate the Democratic Party.
The Democratic Party is not really our friend. It isn't.
So why are the DSA such major players in the Democratic Party? This odd relationship can be understood with the cuckoo analogy. In nature, the cuckoo survives by trickery. It lays its egg in another bird's nest. The unsuspecting parents raise the imposter as their own until the cuckoo grows strong enough to push the true chicks out. The DSA is the cuckoo inside the Democratic Party.
DSA is not the Democratic Party.
We must separate ourselves from the toxic Democratic Party.
We can put forward a clear, aggressive, principled strategy that pushes back against the Democratic leadership and the Democratic Party as a whole.
DSA candidates run as Democrats in safe blue districts. They slip through low turnout primaries. And once inside, they use the Democratic label as camouflage, while advancing an extremist anti-American agenda far beyond the party's mainstream.
I don't agree with the Democratic Party, but it's a great tool.
The Democratic is a tool that we use.
Once in office, DSA candidates take orders from DSA's internal enforcers and working groups. City halls and state houses start running as socialist machines controlled by the organization, not the Democratic Party, and certainly not voters.
They have to have a connection with DSA's internal politics, and they have to be committed to the eventual goal of building a separate entity from the Democrats.
DSA are revolutionaries, and the Democrats are their first victims. And in city after city, DSA victories prove their plan works.
I think that the model that we used in New York is 100% replicatable.
And just like the cuckoo, once the DSA grows strong, it pushes the true Democrats out, hollowing the party from within,
building towards political independence and tearing apart the Democratic Party.
The DSA is not here to strengthen the Democratic Party. It is here to consume it.
We're not here to make the Democrats a little bit better. We're here to actually enact socialism. And socialism is not just better capitalism. It's overthrowing the entire capitalist state.
It's our duty, DSA, to cultivate this power.
We understand that winning an election is not an end. It is a means to an end.
The most important thing that we can do is take that empire down from within.
Ultimately, to overthrow our own empire.
We need to orient ourselves towards insurrection.
Okay. Now, if you're watching that, you're saying to yourself, I don't see the problem, Reese. It's pretty much the Democratic Socialists of America, isn't it? No. Unfortunately, these folks, they're missing something here. And the Democratic Socialists of America are not some offshoot of the Democratic Party. They're not some people who came in and said, oh, let's find the weaker of the group, Democrats or Republicans, and we'll infiltrate this group. No. The Democrat Socialists of America were bred by Democrats. It is that simple, folks. This is academia's Frankenstein monster. It is, always has been, and if you miss that, you don't get, come on, ask yourself this question. Why are Democrats so eager to accept them or so reluctant to condemn them? Because they're one of them. I've said this over and over. I don't know how many years I've been here telling you that what they did was they created these rabid dogs. They created these temper tantrum kids with Molotov cocktails, and now they run amok. And now they're going, wow, what do we do now? They're a bunch of rabid dogs. We can't control them because they had no intention to control them. They are the terrorist wing of their party. They always have been, because that's what Democrats do. What do you think now all of a sudden? Don't you find it odd that the Southern Poverty Law Center was actually paying for the racism they were trying to combat? This is them. This is a fabric of who they are. Democrats and the Klan? Really? They're one and the same? Yeah, because they've always been one and the same. People are treating it today like it's new. They're treating it like, heavens to Betsy, really? Come on. Who were they introduced to? They were introduced to us by the Democrats. The fact that you would think that it's shocking that they would be a part of that team is ridiculous. What, have you been living in the dark ages? That's who they are. They create the thing that will destroy them. Why? Because they think it's supposed to destroy the other people. They created this monster because they thought they would go after the Republicans, that they would be the insane wing of their party, and they would do all of the evil things that they couldn't do, and they could denounce at any given moment. But ask them the question. When all of their radicals come out of the woodwork and you ask them to denounce them, they go, well, it wasn't us. They never denounce them. They just go, well, I don't know why they would get the idea to do that. They should protest in the street, Nancy Pelosi said. Who was she talking about? The radicals of BLM. By the way, the radicals of BLM What was in their mission statement? To destroy Western civilization. Weird. Anybody else talking that nonsense? Yes, the DSA, the Democrat Socialists of America, right? Who's trying to get rid of the patriarchal system? Was that BLM and the DSA? Yes, one and the same. Who was supporting Black Lives Matter? Huh? Republicans? Or was it the Democrats? Yes, it was. Who were the people who platformed Black Lives Matter when over 67% of African Americans denounced them? Who was the one who gave them prominence online? Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook. Don't believe me, left? Go look it up. You could do any research you want because it was all revealed in the emails, in the Wikipedia leaks. We read it all. Mark Zuckerberg put out a company-wide memo. We need to platform Black Lives Matter because they're being rejected. It was absolutely astroturfed. Black Lives Matter were trained what? Marxists. Who were they overwhelmingly supported by? Democrats. Right? Who invited that organization to the White House? Much like the Klan. Democrats. One in particular, Barack Hussein Obama. Yes? Yes. This is their Frankenstein monster. And it all begins in 2015 with the rise of Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders out of nowhere becomes this great, like, I don't know what you would call it, but this sort of uprising in democratic socialism. Bernie Sanders, this guy out of nowhere, well, we will totally take over everything. He was absolutely in charge. He was definitely going to make the Democrats choose who they were. Are we Democrats or are we socialists? And Democrats couldn't deal with that. Imagine if Bernie Sanders had actually become the nominee for the Democrat Party. That means that every person, from the news media to every other blowhard who's on television, would have to, in some way, promote socialism. But it's never been about being able to promote socialism in one fell swoop. It must be incremental, slowly but surely. Life of Julia, ring a bell? The Affordable Care Act, ring a bell? Yeah. All forms of socialism. They believe in piecemeal, gradually becoming the socialists that they are. But the Bernie Sanders folks, they were going to come on and just go, we're socialists, that's it, it's over. And they were going to actually divide the country. Who are you, socialists or capitalists? And they knew they would lose. Democrats couldn't afford that. So we found out from the Podesta emails that what they do, they pulled the rug from under Bernie Sanders. And those folks who supported Bernie Sanders are now, those chickens are coming home to roost. And they're coming after the Democrat Party, not because of anything that we did, because of what Democrats did to Bernie and what they did to socialists. So it's not some sort of canary in the coal mine. They are coming to destroy the people who destroyed them, who undermined them, who cheated them, who lied to them, and stole their election, they believe, in 2016. That's all you need to know. Democrats are fools if they don't shut it down. But I know they can't. Because again, this Frankenstein monster is bigger than they can handle. And they're too soft to fight back. So welcome to your new your new Democrat Party. They're socialists, folks. See you in November. We'll be back. It's Reese on the Radio.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Ethos.
Meta Platforms unveiled Muse Image, its first image generation model, and it uses AI reasoning to create videos from photos. The Facebook and Instagram parent says that Muse Image powers creative experiences on Instagram and WhatsApp and is coming soon to Facebook and Messenger. Investment bank Needham says Muse Image could boost user engagement and increase advertising opportunities for Meta. I'm Jason Brooks.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She can get a deal. Book telehealth if she feels.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
Identity theft can cost more than you think. Drained investment accounts, stolen tax returns, lost wages, expenses for lawyers. It's a lot. That's why LifeLock is backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, which covers up to $1 million for stolen funds, fees, and experts and lawyers, and out-of-pocket expenses. Don't face the burden of identity theft alone. Protect your future and finances with LifeLock. Join now. Save up to 30% off your first year with promo code BECK at LifeLock.com. 1-800-LifeLock, promo code BECK. LifeLock.com. Terms
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
It's no secret that the Democratic Socialists of America.
Anyway, we're back. Reese on the radio right here live, WTIC. Later on in the program, I guess I have to. I don't really have to. Normally, I wouldn't even do it. Everyone's talking about the untimely passing of Senator Lindsey Graham. I'm more struck by the people who have found a reason to say things about him when they never liked the guy. That has always bothered me. I was filling in for WBEN today and in our Buffalo sister station, and I was talking about it and saying that, I remember Ted Kennedy and the day we found out in 2008 that he had a brain aneurysm and they were certain that it was inoperable and he was going to pass. And there were all of these conservative voices who felt compelled to say these things about him. And it's about 10 minutes before I'm about to go on air in my 10 o'clock show, and it just kept bugging me. And I'm listening to these people. Howie Carr was one of them. And Howie Carr's never had a nice thing to say about Ted Kennedy, ever. And he was just saying these things, and I was just going, what? And it didn't sit right with me. So anyway, I go on the air, and I start talking about it, and I go, wait a minute, is this the same Ted Kennedy where you said this, that? And I was just playing audio clips and reading comments that were said about him, and people were just going, hey, could this guy get on board? I said, can this guy just get on board and understand that we're mourning Ted Kennedy? I'm like, no. You can't have it both ways. And can I explain? I'm going to explain my logic this simple, okay, as I did earlier today. All right? We're all going to die, right? We are. Some of us are uncomfortable with it. I know I am. Would I like to stay here forever? Of course. But we're all going to pass, right? At some point. If our passing is so important in the scope, in the grand scheme of things, why should it be less important today than it is when you realize he has an inoperable brain tumor? You get my point? I'm sure at the time that you're insulting him, calling a reprobate, you are considering the fact that one day he may pass. Unless you're telling me, I think he's a reprobate today, but when he gets an aneurysm, I'm going to be a better person about it. There's a degree of which it's unseemly. And so, as I too, look, I can't say I mourn the passing of Lindsey Graham. I didn't know him. However, his family and his friends, of course, Godspeed. My prayers go out to them. Losing someone suddenly, out of nowhere, someone as dynamic as Lindsey Graham. Again, we knew him. I've known him for years. I've known of him for years. So I understand that it is, again, and President Trump appears to be very moved by his passing. I get it. But just all the people who are lying about him, hero of the Senate, Cory Booker called him. Ugh, bloviating card. I'm so annoyed. Anyway, I just figured I'd just get that out of the way. Let's get our first check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher is here. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon, everyone. And if you are heading into the Hartford area right now, look for some slowdowns as you approach exit 33 Jennings Road down to between exits 29A and 27. We have an accident reported there in the left lane, so use caution with that. If you are traveling on the northbound side of I-91, got a good ride Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slows approaching the Bulkley Bridge up to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound losing some speed, 46 is an avenue into the tunnel. 291 westbound, you're slowing from exit 2 up to the Bissell Bridge in South Windsor. If you are heading into the East Hartford area, 2 westbound slowing, 1D up to the 84 West Merge, 9 northbound slowing, Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. Westbound side of 84 delays in Cheshire, approaching 26 up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. 84 eastbound slowing by the 691 interchange in Cheshire. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
After a brief shower early in the evening, a clear sky tonight, the low 67. We've got ourselves a heat wave tomorrow with a high of 96. Tomorrow night, a clear sky down to 76. Day 2 of the heat wave on Wednesday with a high of 96. It'll be a little bit breezy, but dangerous heat. Seek time in the shade and stay hydrated. On Thursday, partly sunny, breezy, less humid, but still warm, the high temperature 93. Increasing clouds on Friday with a high of 88. And then as a front starts to come through, some showers and thunderstorms on Saturday with a high temperature of 80 degrees. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, highs in the 90s with our next heat wave. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
This is WTIC News Talk 1080 with Brian and Company in the morning, Reese on the radio in the afternoon, and news around the clock. WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford and Odyssey Station.
4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News in Waterbury. There have been 2 arrests made in connection with a double fatal shooting at a city nightclub earlier this month. The 2 suspects are juveniles. It was July 5th that the shots rang out at the LA 42 nightclub. 22-year-old Trevon Dunbar and 18-year-old Zanaya Dawkins were killed. The suspects were picked up in New Britain on Friday as police executed a warrant. They also found handguns and other evidence at the scene. In addition to murder, the 2 are facing a host of charges, including conspiracy, reckless endangerment, and unlawful discharge of a firearm. The investigation is ongoing, and police expect to have additional information when they hold a news conference at Waterbury Police Headquarters on Tuesday. President Trump is pushing Darlene Graham to replace her brother Lindsey for the rest of his term in the U.S. Senate from South Carolina. The state's governor could make that decision today. Senator Lindsey Graham died over the weekend at age 71. Correspondent Jay O'Brien.
There was perhaps no Republican in Congress closer to President Trump. Graham serving as a key advisor and defender. The pair often seen golfing. Trump saying Graham was like a member of his family and that he spoke with him the night he died. A 2-decade veteran of the Senate who also served in the House, he was the last of a trio of Senate best friends that included John McCain and Joe Lieberman. They called themselves the Three Amigos.
Although they disagreed on many issues, Senator Richard Blumenthal says he and Graham did find common ground on some foreign affairs issues, including the bipartisan push to secure tougher sanctions on Russia over its war with Ukraine. Blumenthal tells WTIC their last interaction was as recent as this weekend and concerned the Russia-Ukraine war.
He called me over the weekend from Kyiv, where he was. I was here in Connecticut, and we were, in effect, celebrating the news that the White House was confirming its support for our bill after lengthy, difficult negotiations.
State Department of Public Health is reporting an increase in the number of cases of cyclosporias. That's the foodborne bacteria that leads to diarrhea, cramps, and other symptoms. DPH says 35 cases have been confirmed here as of today. That's nearly double the 19 that were reported last year. The bacteria has turned up in 17 states, including Connecticut. DPH says the illness typically begins within a week of exposure. Healthy people tend to recover without treatment, although those with underlying health conditions may require antibiotics. Best bet to keep yourself safe, they say, is to wash all produce. The outbreaks have been linked in particular to bagged salads, cilantro, and raspberries. State Attorney General William Tong says Connecticut is joining 11 other states in suing to stop Paramount's massive media merger with Warner Brothers.
Yes, Looney Tunes is part of the deal, but Tong says one sprawling media giant buying another is no laughing matter.
This is an unlawful merger and combination that will have devastating consequences.
He says when Paramount assumes a stifling load of debt in the deal, programming at dozens of networks will go south and prices for movie tickets, streaming, and more will go north.
So they're going to take on $78 billion in debt. They're going to cut us to the bone. So we won't have that content, and they're going to jack up prices.
And he says unless the deal is blocked, Paramount will acquire more venues where it can crush independent journalism the way it's already done at CBS. Paramount says it will vigorously defend the transaction. Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
Actor Sam Neill, well known for his performances in the Jurassic Park franchise, has died. Here's ABC's Lara Spencer.
To millions, he was Dr. Alan Grant.
It's a dinosaur.
The reluctant hero of Steven Spielberg's Jurassic Park, propelling him to superstardom, which he talked about right here on Good Morning America in 1993.
It's kind of a monster, isn't it? People seem to be very nice to me. That's kind of good. And people come and make dinosaur noises to me when I'm standing in the checkout line.
But his life and career stretched far beyond that franchise.
He appeared in The Piano and The Hunt for Red October, among many films. Sam Neill was 78. Down day for the markets. The Dow off 138 points, NASDAQ down 408, S&P down 60. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. Reese is on the radio. Hey, hey. Here we go now. He's on the radio. Hey, hey. One time, hey. He's on the radio. Hey, hey. Give it to him now. He's on the radio. Hey, yo. We never finish 'cause the party don't stop. Hey. The way we consider the politics, we on top. Hey. We flip it like sandals, except we never flop. Hey. And when we drop, you know we gon' pop. Hey. Yeah. Reese is on the radio. Hey. Here we go now. Reese is on the radio. Hey. One time, come on. Reese is on the radio. Hey. Give it to him now. Reese is on the radio.
All right, second half of Reese on the Radio is currently underway. Sitting just across from me is that gentleman right there, Dr. Michael Goldstein, running in the 4th District. We'll talk to him, and then we'll talk to his son, Jonathan, immediately after, and maybe even part of the conversation. We will get to that in due course, and we'll also, do some other housekeeping as well when it comes to these candidates. In fact, I'm going to tell a great story about how Dr. Michael Goldstein came to be on this very program. It was kind of a mess, but whatever, he got here, and we're happy. I'm actually glad I met you. At first, I was like, who is this big person? But I'll explain all of that when we get back. So stand by for that. It should be an interesting conversation. It may even be a long one, because I think his son is equally interesting. And I watched the speech he gave yesterday, and even afterwards, I kind of had to shake his hand. I went, powerful stuff. We'll talk about that and much, much more. Stand by. More news and more views than you can shake a stick at. But coming up, Mark Christopher. He's getting your traffic. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right. Thank you very much, Reese. Well, if you're heading into Hartford right now, overall, we're doing pretty well. We do have one issue, and that is 91 southbound between exit 29 and exit 27. We have a crash there. That is sitting in the left lane. So right now, look for delays back to exit 33 Jennings Road. Behind that, looks real good. 91 northbound, Cromwell up into Windsor. If you're traveling westbound, 84 a little slow. Bulkley Bridge out to 46 Sisson Avenue. 84 eastbound, you'll lose some speed. 48 Capitol Avenue into the tunnel. 2 westbound's a little tight as you merge with 84 west in East Hartford. 291 westbound, slowing exit 2 up to the Bissell. 9 northbound slows Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. If you are traveling northbound on the Wilbur Cross Parkway, look for delays as you move up on exit 62 Miller Avenue in Meriden. If you're traveling on the westbound side of 84, look for delays 26 in Cheshire up to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound's a little tight in Cheshire approaching the 691 interchange. South 95 New Haven tight 46 to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8s. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, enjoy the low humidity and the relatively pleasant temperatures this afternoon with a high of 87. It's mostly cloudy out there. Any showers should stay just to the north of Hartford. Mainly clear tonight down to 67. The heat advisory tomorrow and Wednesday for good measure. The high 96 tomorrow, mostly sunny. It'll be very breezy as well. The wind's about 15 to 20 miles per hour. And the AccuWeather real field temperature in the upper 90s. Tomorrow night, very little relief. Mainly clear down to 76 degrees. Lots of sunshine on Wednesday, up to 96. And then on Thursday, partly sunny, breezy, a little bit cooler or slightly less hot, the high 93. Increasing clouds on Friday, the high 88. And a couple of showers and thunderstorms on Saturday as the heat ridge breaks down with a high of 80. Right now, it's 85 in Bristol, 81 in Waterbury, and 84 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family.
Injured? Dial pound law.
Nicholas Russo, 157 Church Street, New Haven, 06510.
WTIC News Talk 1080 is celebrating America's 250th birthday all month long. So we're asking, what does being American mean to you?
What it means is to have the freedom to choose for yourself, do whatever you want to do. I'm an Air Force veteran, served overseas in the military. The thing that I believe most in is that everybody has their choice to do what they think is right for themselves, and that's what really the freedom that this country was founded on.
This American Moment is sponsored by Cussin Automotive.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
You think I'd have this thing ready already? All right, we are here and we are live. Dr. Michael Goldstein is here. His son Jonathan is here. We'll get to him as well as soon as I find out which microphone is his. I think it's that one. Jonathan, try that microphone real quick. Just say hello.
Hello.
Hey, okay, he's good. So, Dr. Goldstein, thank you for being on the program. You and I were kind of thrusted together. I think it was your wife who sent me a text message and said, really love to be on your show. And I'm like, okay, who are you? I didn't know anything about you. But after, of course, some deep diving, I was in, oh, okay, he's running for office. Had no idea. You weren't on my radar. There's just so many people running. I don't know everyone. But thank you for being on the program. How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here.
You are a doctor of what?
I'm a medical doctor specializing in ophthalmology, which is eye surgery.
Okay, good. You're the guy that I need to see later on. I used to have, I did LASIK back in 2004. You don't do LASIK kind of things, right?
I used to do LASIK.
Really?
Yes.
Was that I mean, you say used to. Did you get out of it because it was no longer, I guess, lucrative or worth the while?
Well, the problem is that unless you do like large volumes, people don't come to you, and economically it doesn't work. So you either pretty much it reaches a point where either all you do is LASIK or you almost never do LASIK.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. I didn't know that when I got the LASIK surgery, I didn't know that it would kind of like run its course after a couple of years. I think I got mine in 2004, and by 2009, my vision was bad.
That's not supposed to happen.
Really? Okay. I thought that was the thing. I thought it was like after a while, LASIK just actually wears off like anything else. No, it's not supposed to happen. Oh, so I may have a bigger problem then.
Yeah, no. I actually started to learn how to do surgeries that preceded LASIK. It was as part of my fellowship training. I went to Bogota, Colombia, and learned how to do a procedure called keratomelusis, where we took the caps of the cornea, we put it on a lathe, we froze it, carved it like a contact lens, and sewed it back in the eye.
Wow.
And then from that technology, we learned that you could reshape eyes and get rid of nearsightedness and farsightedness. And then when the laser came along, they had a laser doing it instead of us manually cutting it.
Yeah, now the laser thing is freaky to me because when I got my LASIK surgery, this was done by a machine. It just on my eye did the whole severing, the correction, and then closing it up. I mean, I was in the room with a robot. I mean, in 2004.
You should have been in the room with a surgeon.
Yeah, no, the surgeon was a robot. It was. I'll never forget it.
Yeah, well, what happens is in these large volume centers, they have these guys, they're called shooters.
Okay.
And they just do one LASIK right after the next.
Wow. Okay. In essence, that's their bread and butter.
Yes.
That's kind of. So you were kind of, and you're still a surgeon, I presume, right?
Yes.
Still practicing.
Yes.
With that being said, why politics?
Well, okay, it's a good question. So I started out being a doctor like anybody else, and then one day I started seeing medicine was changing in ways that I really didn't like.
Okay.
And I decided to go to law school at night and become a lawyer.
Okay.
And I figured, well, listen, if medicine isn't good, maybe I'll be a lawyer afterwards. And I really liked law school. And then what happened was I became an officer of the New York County Medical Society, and then I became a president, and I got involved a lot in politics. Even though I live in Connecticut,
Sure.
I was working in New York, and I got involved in New York politics. And we used to go to lobbying, meeting legislators, going to these Democrat events. I mean, I've seen just about everybody. I've been to events with Schumer. I've been to events with Cuomo. The one I went to with Cuomo, there was some random person sitting at a table of 9 doctors, and it turned out to be Kathy Hochul.
Oh, okay.
And she was just sitting there. There was a woman sitting there. We said, I said, "Who are you?" She said, "I'm Kathy Hochul," and I didn't know what Kathy Hochul was.
At the time, was she lieutenant governor?
She was a lieutenant governor.
Yeah.
Nobody knows who the lieutenant governor is.
Sure.
So I said, "Well, what do you do?" She said, "I'm the lieutenant governor." I said, "Oh my goodness." And the guest speaker was Joe Biden.
Wow. Okay.
So I've been to a lot of stuff. I saw how things, and what I realized is that medicine wasn't going in the right direction. And I realized if you don't have a lot of money or you don't represent a lot of people, you have no power.
Very true.
So I decided, well, if the doctors don't seem to have much power, the healthcare system, which affects everybody, is getting screwed up. Why don't I go into politics and try to run for office and see what I can do to fix it? And then when I really started getting into politics, I realized not only was healthcare screwed up, but so much is screwed up and so much needs to be fixed. And that's how I got into this.
And is this your first campaign?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. So how many are we into so far?
This is really my third. The first time I ran, I went to a convention, and I did a Republican convention, and I didn't get that many votes because it was, they had this block voting, so whole towns would just vote for one person. So I decided to get signatures, which like nobody does.
Right.
And we went out and we got signatures, and I got on the ballot in the primary. As a total unknown, and I got 40% of the vote in the primary when nobody even knew who I was.
Wow.
And so then
Do you think that said more about you or more about the person you were running up against?
I'll let you be the judge.
Okay, all right. No, not that you have to crap on the person you were running against, but I mean, in essence, did your message resonate enough that you got 40%? That's kind of what I'm asking.
Oh, absolutely. It definitely did resonate. And also, I mean, between the petitions and everything else, we came into contact with a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
We probably interacted with about over 30,000 people in this process because only about like 1 in 10 people would sign a petition.
Right.
And because you're walking up to people in supermarkets and saying, "Hi, excuse me, are you a Republican?" And they look at you like, "What are you asking me this question? Are you gonna like trash my car or what's that?"
Yeah.
And they'd say, "No, I'm running in a primary. I need signatures." And they said, "Oh, okay, And then, of course, I'm wearing a shirt inside that says Goldstein for Congress. It's not like they don't know that I'm a Republican. But anyway, so then. And then we did a lot of door knocking. We did a lot of other stuff, and people got to know who we were. And the real problem is that a lot of people have no idea who's running in any of these elections.
Very true. And isn't that weird? I find that fascinating. The fact that everyone says that the fabric of who we are is always related to politics, but then when it comes to people running for office, no one seems to know who that person is. And they seem to only know Trump and, whoever the opposition is at that time. And they seem to be very limited in the scope of what they know about politics, but politics is everywhere.
You're absolutely right. And that is the reason why all these crazy things are happening in this country, is because the average person is not aware. I think truthfully, the average person gets up in the morning, they get the kids off to go to school, they go to work, they come home, and if life's okay and they're paying their bills and everything seems to be okay, they're not really interested in politics.
True.
So you have the bad actors, the people who want to change our country in the wrong direction are working like behind the scenes, and nobody's really realizing what happens until it happens. And then they say, "Oh my God, how did we get there?"
So you have a primary.
Yes.
Coming up.
Yes.
And you're going up against David Moresi?
Daniel Moresi.
It's Daniel. Sorry. I'm Daniel Moresi. I'm screwing everybody's name up. Do you have a relationship with him at all? Do you know him at all? I know him a little bit, but do you know him at all?
No, I mean, I know him, but because you go to towns and you
Sure.
see him. I mean, so when I went to the convention, I got over 60% of the votes in the convention. I became the party endorsed candidate.
Okay.
And at the convention, he was telling people that he was going to win and get 85% of the vote, and I wound up with getting over 60% because so his judgment on terms of how things were going to work out in the convention weren't particularly good.
Okay.
And so look. We're very different people, very different backgrounds. I mean, I have a lot of skill sets that make me a good candidate. I've run medical societies. I've been involved in nonprofits. I was on the board of my medical school alumni association. We have a fund that we help provide scholarships. I've been on a board of my temple. I've been elected to the Greenwich RTM for 2 terms. We've actually worked with a lot of other candidates. So then the background as being both a lawyer and a doctor, I have a lot of insight in how things really work. And having owned a medical practice as a solo practitioner, I understand what small business is about and how the problems that face small businesses. So I have a lot of skill sets and a lot of experience.
And you kind of earned this, didn't you? I mean, you went through the trenches to get here, and if you will, right? I mean, just come on, tell the guy drop out.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm kidding. Go ahead. Don't co-sign my nonsense. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, you would think that the problem is this. I mean, almost never was there somebody who does not win the convention win in a primary. I happened to have won 2 years ago. I beat a guy named Bob McGuffey, but it was like a 53-47 kind of vote.
Okay.
It wasn't like 60-38 or something.
Right.
So it was a much tighter race, and so it was a different scenario. But look, I mean, this is America. People want to run for primaries. That's fine. And there's always an upside and a downside. You run the primary, and this, unlike any other year, the only primary that's going on in the 4th district is the congressional. Right. Every other time there's been a primary that I've been involved in, there was a Senate primary as well. So I mean, they had to run the primary no matter what. Here, 17 towns have to open up their polls for this primary. They have to do early voting, and so it's a fairly large expense that people are going through, and it also the towns aren't thrilled with doing this particular primary. When there's a Senate one, they have no choice. Here they sort of do, but it's the way it is. And look, the answer is the voters are going to decide.
And you're okay with that.
And I'm okay with that because I know I've been in primaries and I know what voters want and I know what my positions are, and I believe that I'm a strong candidate, so I believe that I'm to do great in a primary. But you know what? You never know till the votes count.
Well, let's talk about the ultimate goal, and that is to unseat Jim Himes. Because
that is the ultimate goal.
That is the ultimate goal. And look, I kind of feel like he is a nowhere candidate, if you get my meaning, right? He's everywhere and nowhere. I mean, he seems to be more concerned about his national appeal than he is about being a representative here in Connecticut. John Larson has the same problem. He only decides that he's running in Connecticut when when he's running for re-election. Any other time, he's Washington bound. And I feel like Jim Himes is going through that as well. Have you seen him in and around here, or
I saw him at he was at the parade, the Puerto Rican Day Parade in Bridgeport. But the answer to your question is the problem is that Jim Himes' loyalty is really to the National Party.
Indeed.
And he votes 95% of the time the way the Democrats vote.
Indeed.
And he's voted for some things that I would consider kind of crazy. Mm-hmm. And I think he's voted against things that I think he should be voting for.
Right.
So, for example, there was one legislation where if somebody stole money from the federal government and they were an illegal alien, they should be deported. Jim Himes voted against it.
Right.
There was another bill where an illegal alien committed violent crimes against women and children. They should be deported. He voted against it.
What is wrong with
What is wrong? He's also voted against proving that you're a citizen. I mean, if our elections are not fair and we have elections where there's cheating, how does that make us any different than a third world country?
Good point.
I mean, we're like a banana republic. I mean, if people show up, they're not citizens, they vote in different places. I mean, I know a guy in Stamford. He happens to be a legit citizen. He's able to vote with a ShopRite supermarket ID card.
Yeah, it's so funny. Larry Kudlow was talking about that. You can go up to a polling place with like a credit card or something like that. He mentioned in an interview he did with Donald Trump, was talking about how corrupt it is up here. So Jim Himes, of course, has a lot of, let's just say, name recognition here in Connecticut. He is, when he's in the news, he's in the news. It's always favorable. How do you cut through that noise as a person running against him?
Okay, there's three groups of voters in the state of Connecticut. There's Democrats, Republicans, and independent unaffiliates. Mm-hmm. Now, in this particular district, there's more Democrats than there are Republicans.
Okay.
But the first part of the question is, are all the Democrats going to start voting for Jim Himes and everybody else with the crazy radical nonsense that the Democratic Party is having? Some of these people have to be a little bit fed up.
I couldn't agree more.
The second group is the Republicans. Now, the two problems. The problem with the Republicans in a non-presidential year is turnout. You have to get the Republicans to show up. And in some towns, they've given up. Because Indeed. Like, for example, like towns like Stamford is an example where a lot of the Republicans figure they're not going to win any elections, so why bother to vote? But the point is, it's all a numbers game, and you have to just get the right number of voters to win. So in towns where they're not showing up, they could still make a difference in a general election. And then you have to go to the unaffiliates. The unaffiliates are they're not all the same. It's not like a cookie cutter group of people. And so what my goal is to do is to reach out to the unaffiliated voters, and different ones have different different issues that matter to them. So, for example, one of the things in certain towns like Bridgeport or Stamford or Norwalk, there's an issue where the schools are not that great, and of course it's the worst in Bridgeport. Bridgeport's schools are number like 160 out of 165, and there's at least 25% absentee rate where the kids don't even go to school.
Yeah.
So their lives are essentially being destroyed, and a lot of the working class people in those towns will take on second jobs so they could send their kids to parochial schools, for example. So one of the things that I strongly support is school choice. Jim Hines, who's loyal to the teachers union, is totally against school choice. So if I can message out to people in the working class people that are paying to send their kids to parochial school, or wish they could get their kids in parochial schools or charter schools, but they just don't have the money, and that I'm supporting school choice so these kids can get a choice, and they know who I am, and they know that that's my message, then they will vote for me because I'm the one that's trying to help them. And so that's a good example.
Let me ask you this, because we got to go to a break in a minute. Are you familiar with Dr. Steve Perry?
No.
Does he ring a bell? Okay, he is in the Bridgeport area. You need to link up with this guy, and I'll tell you who he is briefly. So he runs a charter school in Bridgeport. He was trying to get a charter school in Middletown. Yeah, Middletown, and he got pretty much screwed over by Matt Lesser and Martin Looney. He had done everything he was supposed to do to get funding for him, and they screwed him. Now, Dr. Steve Perry, African-American man, started a charter school for African-American children. It is leaps and bounds better than any public school in Bridgeport. And he needs support. And I told him, and we had a conversation, I said, you need to start talking to some conservatives because they support what he's doing as a charter school. But let me take a break real quick. We'll come back with Dr. Michael Goldstein when we return. Mark Christopher's back. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon, everyone. If you're making your way into Hartford right now, you're going to see some slow traffic, 36 to 35 in Windsor, again 33 down to 32 A and B in the Hartford area. On the northbound side of 91, that moves well, Cromwell up into Windsor. Westbound 84 is tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush. 84 eastbound is tied up half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue down to the Bulkley. 291 westbound slowing exit 2 up to the Bissell Bridge in South Windsor. 2 westbound just a little slow merging with 84 west. 9 northbound, you got delays Middletown Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound in Cheshire slowing 26 to the Mixmaster. If you're heading down in toward New Haven, southbound Parkway delays 50 into the West Rock, and 95 southbound delays 46 down to 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
After a brief shower early in the evening, a clear sky tonight, the low 67. We've got ourselves a heat wave tomorrow with a high of 96. Tomorrow night, a clear sky down to 76. Day 2 of the heat wave on Wednesday with a high of 96. It'll be a little bit breezy, but dangerous heat. Seek time in the shade and stay hydrated. On Thursday, partly sunny, breezy, less humid, but still warm, the high temperature 93. Increasing clouds on Friday with a high of 88. And then as a front starts to come through, some showers and thunderstorms on Saturday with a high temperature of 80 degrees. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, highs in the 90s with our next heat wave. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
4:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. The number of cyclosporiasis cases in Connecticut is growing. The state health department says the number of cases is now 35. It's nearly twice the amount seen last year. The bacteria is found on fresh produce primarily, can lead to diarrhea, cramps, and other issues. Health experts say it's best to thoroughly wash produce before consuming it. 2 juveniles are facing murder charges in connection with the shooting deaths of 2 others at a Waterbury nightclub earlier this month. 22-year-old Trayvon Dunbar and 18-year-old Zanaya Dawkins were shot at LA 42 Club back on July 5th. Police made the arrests on Friday. The suspects were apprehended in New Britain. They face a host of weapons and other charges in addition to murder. Suspect shot by police last night in Manchester. Officers were called to a domestic incident. The 18-year-old was reportedly armed with a knife. He was taken to the hospital for treatment. A fatal shooting involving an ICE agent in Maine.
An ICE agent fatally shot a motorist in Maine Monday, the second time in a week federal immigration officers used deadly force. Maine Senator Angus King, an independent, says Homeland Security Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen told him the agent opened fire in Biddeford after the man tried to use his vehicle as a weapon against agents who were pursuing him for deportation. Apparently, the ICE agents didn't have body-worn cameras. 2 immigrant rights groups ID'd the victim as a 26-year-old Colombian with a family authorized to work in the U.S. who had a Social Security number and was on his way to work when he was shot. The FBI is investigating. I'm Julie Walker.
Teen is dead after an incident on Crystal Pond in Eastford over the weekend. Witnesses say the 15-year-old paddleboarder went into the water Sunday, was rescued by a Good Samaritan. She later died at Day Kimball Hospital. President Trump says the U.S. is reinstating the blockade on Iran in the Strait of Hormuz and will charge other ships for safe passage. Made that announcement earlier today after another exchange of fire between the U.S. and Iran. Wall Street reflected the latest doings in the Middle East as the Dow lost 138 points, the Nasdaq dropped over 400, and the S&P was down 60. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Since we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see and hear lots of lawyer ads. It seems that most are bragging on what they got their clients. But be careful. If you heard that someone sold their car for $500,000, you would be impressed. But if you later learned that it was a rare $10 million Ferrari, would you say that person got screwed? And that's before you even know if it's true. Who is fact-checking? And how much went to medical bills and lawyers' fees? If you want to get an idea what your case may be really worth, visit forthepeople.com and go to Settlements and Verdicts. You will see what a law firm like ours is capable of. And fact-check for yourself. All that glitters is not gold. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. We won big, a lot. At Morgan & Morgan, we represent consumers. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial pound law.
Nicholas Russo, 157 Church Street, New Haven, 06510.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Okay, Reese on the radio. I'm here with Dr. Michael Goldstein and his son, Jonathan Goldstein. We're kind of having a Jewish reminiscent kind of thing going here. We got to go to weather and traffic in a second, but I just want to make sure that I bring this up briefly with the gentleman. So I know you guys don't know this, okay? I was born in Hollis, Queens, but my first wife, Jewish. Second wife, Jewish. 2 stepchildren, Jewish, both bat and bar mitzvah, okay? I'm talking about, okay? Bar mitzvah, okay? My son, bar mitzvah. So I have a very close connection to the Jewish community. For you guys to tell me that there are people who do not, in New York, in Westport, in Bridgeport, the Jewish community, who do not send their kids to Israel for sabbatical? No?
Absolutely. There are many people like that. I mean, look, 1/3 of the Jews in New York City voted for Mamdani.
Yeah, well, that much I know. Those, I don't consider those folks. Now, I know the high holiday Jews. I know a lot of them. Some members of my family are very high holiday Jews. But not to go to Israel? No pilgrimage?
There are a lot that don't.
Really?
It's true.
Is that a new fad?
No. There's just some people that actually just think of themselves more as politically as liberal, and that's their religion essentially. And Judaism is kind of like
secondary.
It's secondary, exactly. And
culturally Jewish for the jokes, like Seinfeld before October 7th.
I love it when you said that. You said culturally Jewish for the jokes.
Do you remember the Seinfeld episode where the guy converts to Judaism so he can tell Jewish jokes?
Oh, no, I've never saw that. Wow. I cannot believe I'm witnessing this. Well, I mean, this is almost impossible to believe.
Well, just like finding conservative Jews.
Well, that, again, I've never understood that. And I kind of felt like it was a cosmopolitan New York, Upper West Side kind of thing. Like, I experienced that when I went to Temple Bethel. Right, I understand. Again, going to temple every Saturday, I totally experienced that. I knew every one of them. We had everything from Purim to Passover, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, the whole thing, and it was always these, as I called them, high holiday Jews, and I knew them, but I never knew anybody who just didn't send their kids to Israel when they got after their bar mitzvah. It was unheard of for you not to send your kid.
Well, apparently there are lots of people that do that. But you also have to, what happened really, if you think about it, is a lot of Jews immigrated to the United, especially to New York, in the early part of the 20th century.
Yeah.
And then their children, wanted to become more and more assimilated,
right.
And they sort of dropped a lot of their Jewish culture. And then their children wanted to even be more assimilated, so they dropped even more. So that at some point you get to this point where there's not that much substance left in some people. And on the other hand, you have more religious Jews who are very strong supporters of Israel and strong supporters of Jewish culture. So it's almost like a dichotomy, and I think that's why you're seeing a lot of the people that are super liberal that actually vote for Mandami, that support the Palestinians, and do a lot of other things that really make no sense.
I really thought that was a subset of Jewish culture, but apparently it's far more pervasive than I thought. Anyway, we'll take a break. Mark Christopher's back. He is at the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese. Thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. Making your way into Hartford right now. The southbound side of 91 slowing 36 to 35 in Windsor. Again, 33 down to 32 A and B in Hartford. If you're traveling westbound 84, look for delays east Hartford approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush. 84 eastbound slowing 46 Sisson Avenue to the Bulkley. 291 westbound slowing exit 2 up to the Bissell Bridge. If you're traveling 2 westbound, got a little slow traffic approaching 1D. 9 northbound Middletown's tight Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound in Cheshire slowing 26, pretty much right up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. Southbound Parkway delays 50 into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 southbound, you're slowing in New Haven. 46 down to exit 44. I'm Mark Christopher. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
We've got a little bit of patchy cloudiness just to the west of the city, and that'll float through late this afternoon, but not expecting any rain. The showers across Massachusetts. We will see a clearing sky tonight, very comfortable with a low temperature of 67. Hot tomorrow, heat advisory in effect, and the peak of the heat wave is going to be 2 days, tomorrow and Wednesday, with a high of 96. AccuWeather real field temperature tomorrow 97, and on Wednesday up to 99 degrees. So make sure you seek shade. Also keep hydrated. Tomorrow night's low only 76. So we've got a heat wave. We've also got very uncomfortable nights ahead. Once we get into Thursday, partly sunny, a little bit less humid with a high of 93. Increasing clouds on Friday with a high of 88. And a couple of showers and thunderstorms on Saturday, the high temperature only 80. Right now it's 86 in Granby, 82 in Willimantic, and 82 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
O'Reilly Auto Parts can help take the guesswork out of your vehicle's check engine, ABS, or maintenance light with O'Reilly Veriscan. This service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASC certified master technicians. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
Brian Shackman here for Certa Pro Painters. Now is the time to do it. If you've been putting it off, Certa Pro Painters can provide that free estimate. They can do it quickly and at the right price. I can tell you they did my kitchen and it was phenomenal. You never have to wonder about what's next. Certa Pro Painters, they give reliable updates and they're always in communication. And listen, schedule your free estimate online right now at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Each Certa Pro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
Carpal tunnel syndrome. Heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines.
These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. Dr. Michael Goldstein is here with his son, Jonathan Goldstein. Is also, we'll talk to him in a little bit after we finish up with the good doctor here. I'm sorry, fascinating discussion about just the way in which I don't know. I'm fascinated because you kind of feel when we were talking about Mamdani and Jewish voters voting for him in New York City, which many people would argue this would be against their best interests, knowing his allegiance, as he has made very clear. To now see this behavior by Jews in New York City, and many people are baffled by it, like, why? But you say that that's not just there in New York City. You said, was it Westport and Bridgeport are very much the same. What was your, you said you had a voting block that was 80-20?
It was around, I think it might have been 75-25. But if you looked at the 2024 election and you compared the voting patterns in Bridgeport and the voting patterns in Westport, they were essentially identical.
And this was based upon their views on Israel.
Based on who they voted for.
Oh, sorry, who they voted for.
Who they voted for
Right.
in the different elections, and,
Right.
and which party they voted for.
And you're talking about the Jewish vote.
No, I'm talking about the entire
Oh,
vote.
the entire vote. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But
because I don't think you can break it down like by ethnically how
why
different
not?
people voted.
No, but you said something else. We were talking about how you received some letters. I want to talk a little bit about that. Can you talk a little bit about that?
We were sending out text messages.
Okay.
And we sent out the last, because I ran in 2024, and we sent out about 2 million text messages, and we sent them to target them to different groups, and we sent them to the one of the groups we picked was Jews, and my son Jonathan, who's with us, was monitoring a lot of the responses, and if he can just talk briefly about
Jonathan, go ahead. What?
Sure. I mean, we had things, we can't support you because you support Netanyahu, and he's as demonic as the Orange Man.
Wow.
And this was also the first time, Netanyahu was coming to the United States right around this time for the first time since October 7th.
Right.
And, there were, I think the vice president went to some sorority sisters thing instead of when he addressed both chambers of Congress.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, an important time where, Israel for the first time is coming to America after 2 years effectively. And, and we're trying to bring awareness to this, and they're like, we won't support anybody like this. It was just bizarre that it was one of the few groups that we actually received such negative, remarks was from the Jewish community of all. And with a name like Goldstein.
Yeah.
It's a little bit,
troubling. I'll tell you the part that makes that fascinating to me is because the usual statement is that there's such a solidarity amongst, like in the black community, which I happen to be a member of, they always say it's like, we need the solidarity like the Jews have solidarity. But they don't know that's today. That's not a thing.
It's definitely not a thing. If that's correct, if there was no solidarity in the black community, a lot of people would not be getting elected.
Yeah, indeed. But sorry, Jonathan, what were you going to say?
Well, it depends. Like the Orthodox are very close together. They keep
keep
the money in the system. It multiplies about 7 or 8 times before it leaves. Whereas other communities, it typically goes out on price or whatever. So, and also those communities, when there's a problem, they try to solve it within the community first because they know that the stereotypes. They're concerned about stereotypes being, exacerbated. So if they can solve a problem internally, like, I'm a roofer and I sell you a bad roof, keep it in the community before going, well, all roofers
Yeah.
that are from the community are bad. You know,
right.
In a different group. So I think it's that community thing where they do support each other in those communities, but then there's also those kind of more assimilated, communities that we have here.
You guys are incredibly passive about this, and the level of which, not that I think that they should be this unilateral support of somebody based on their last name. That I'm not saying. But I would just say the vitriol of which is coming from this community towards you. Look, I know what it's like to be an African-American conservative and black folks saying to me, oh, you're not like us. I get it. But it seems very odd culturally for Jews to almost spew a degree of hatred, if you will, if you are a conservative Jew. That was never the case growing up for me.
Well, the whole thing is this. I mean, first of all, Judaism is a religion, and there's all different kinds of people
Fair.
and all different degrees of people that are religious versus non-religious versus agnostic. And so,
Right.
so you can't paint like a single brush. So,
Okay.
So what you're saying, and among the more religious Jews who are, more devoted to the religion, they tend to be more conservative. They tend to be more pro-Israel. And as you become less and less and less religious and more, you start to see, they become more involved in liberalism. You'll see a lot of people that are just liberal, and the liberalism is more important to them than anything else.
Is it a younger demographic?
Not completely.
There's a lot of
look at
older-
Bernie Sanders. I mean, he was once a Jew, but I mean, look at him. He's a communist now. So
Ben and Jerry.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair argument. Yeah. Well, those are three good examples of Jews who have kind of, would you call it renouncing or denouncing? What would it be?
probably a little of both.
A little of both, right? Yeah.
They're embracing the culture, but they're in one
Yeah.
sense, I think, is to create a community where they're, the idea is, I think Jews are also taught to help everyone.
Yeah.
And I think there's a balance between being able to help everyone and being able to help yourself first before you can help others. And I think that's part of the challenge too. So, or they take parts of the religion and the spirituality and they go, "Oh, Madonna's doing Kabbalah, so now I should do Kabbalah." And it's not exactly, yoga has become the next spiritual practice.
Yeah, sure has.
They'll make a soul cycle session, but they're not going to focus on the spirituality.
So, Dr. Goldstein, what do you do with that kind of divide in a place like Westport or Bridgeport? Like, how do you navigate through that?
Well, I think that you have to navigate through everything by basically making a campaign based on the issues and comparing yourself to the person you're running against.
Sure.
In this case, once we get past the primary, it'll be Jim Himes. And Jim Himes, for example, is a guy who spent 2 months of his life when he was a senior in Harvard, living with the Sandinistas, which is the Marxist regime that runs Nicaragua. It's a communist regime. And then he went and wrote like a 95-page essay on how wonderful they are. So, I mean, when, as the left takes over the Congress, he's going to shift to them because he's already had the leanings in that direction to begin with.
Right.
But the point is the people in Connecticut don't feel that way, but they don't know anything about this. They don't know why that feels this way. And we've talked about some of the other issues. And then he came up with another one. There was an article that was written by it was a guy named Scott Benjamin, who wrote it about the candidates and the campaign, and he talked about the inheritance, the concept of inheritance
Sure.
and inheritance tax. And Jim Himes, according to this article, said that he believes all inheritances should be taxed as ordinary income, which means that there's no exemption if you can't leave any money to your heirs without it all being taxed, which I think is an incredibly ridiculous idea. That means if somebody dies between the state and the federal government, the state gets half.
Yeah.
And the government gets half. So essentially, if you have a house and you want to leave it to your kids, you can't because, hey, the government owns half the house.
Yeah.
Under this Himes idea of everything being taxed as ordinary income. If you own a business or a family business and you want to pass it on to your family.
Which most people do.
They can't because the government is now your partner. The government didn't build the business. The government didn't keep the doors open when it was raining or snowing. But suddenly the government owns half. And I think that people need to know that this is a position that he's made because it hurts a lot of people. Even if people of middle class backgrounds who just simply own a house and they want to give it to their kids, they can't do it. If Himes has his way, if that quote is accurate, that it's just ordinary income. Well, you get a house and $500,000, suddenly you have to pay income tax on $500,000, and then you have to pay the state of Connecticut tax on $500,000. What's left?
Yeah, you agree with me then. You heard my statements or my monologue earlier, talking about how this Democrat Party is pretending that they are not the Democrat Socialists of America, but here it is, Jim Himes sounding exactly like them when he was a junior or a senior in Harvard.
I don't know. I'm not sure, but
nonetheless. But I mean, he wrote a 95-page
right.
essay in essence supporting the exact socialism that these yahoos are talking about.
And not only that, in it he also talks about how you change the minds of younger generations through the school system, which is exactly what's going on.
Exactly what's going on, right? So in essence, they are one and the same. I keep trying to tell people that it's like they think that there is this divide in the Democrat Party that is Democrats over here and the socialists over there, and I'm just going, no, they are who they said they are, and you can see it if you pay attention to anything they've ever written, anything that they've ever. I would say all you have to do is go back to anything that they've learned or taught or have expressed in earlier writings or in policies. You will find out exactly who they are, and they align themselves with half of these yahoos who wish to take control the means of production. And I even said it earlier today, and I'll ask you this. If the Democrat Party is in and of itself about control, isn't that socialism?
It is socialism, and essentially one of the things that really bothers me a lot is that the Democrats claim to be the party for the people, yet they're supported by the extremely wealthy. And what they've really done in places like Bridgeport is they've actually betrayed the people that live there. Terrible schools. No economic development, no opportunity. I mean, if you're really looking to uplift people, first thing you want to do is have good schools. Definitely doesn't happen. You want to bring jobs into the communities. Definitely doesn't happen. So what they really want is to perpetuate poverty, keep people poor, keep people in. They've broken up the family. If you look at the black family prior to the 1960s or 70s, it was 70% two-parent households. Now it's less than 30, and it's all because of bad democratic policies, and they've destroyed the futures and lives of millions of people with these crazy ideas. And it's time for people to stand up and say no. We've had enough. Let's take different leaders and let's change and let's see what happens.
Are you still fundraising?
Yes, absolutely. It's tough to raise money as a Republican running in Connecticut for Congress.
Is it really? Now, you'll take money from anywhere, even if they're not in your district, just to help you, because again, the objective is to get Republicans elected. So if you are listening to the voice of Dr. Goldstein, please go to his website, goldsteinforcongress.com. Can they donate there?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. No. Of course, money is the key. But we need money to win, because in order to get the message out takes money, and the message has to be that there's a better choice. That the choice that's going on in here. I mean, this state has been destroyed by single party rule. This country, if they follow suit, isn't heading in any better direction. Socialism is like a total failure. The average income in the Soviet Union is 1/4 what it is here. In China, it's like even less. There's no socialist communist country where the quality of life is as good as it is here, where the standard of living is as good as it's here. And when the Russians lost control of Eastern Europe, they all threw off communism, which they had lived under from the World War II till they were gone. And guess what? None of them are communist countries. So anybody that's lived in a communist country knows how bad it is. So I can't really understand why anybody in this country would embrace a failed ideology that has destroyed countries and hundreds of millions of people throughout the world, and a political party that's pushing this stuff and is not being exposed for the horrible things that they are advocating for is unbelievable. And I can't understand why the media is not even doing anything. Why isn't the media saying, wait a second, communism sucks? And I mean, your life is going to be terrible. You're going to have no freedom. You're going to have less consumer goods than you have now. Or your quality of life is going to go down. Why isn't somebody saying that?
It is. Can I tell you what I really believe that it is? And
Absolutely.
I'm taking this. You're a parent, so you'll understand this. You probably didn't have this problem with Jonathan. Maybe you did. Who knows? Jonathan seemed like he probably would have been this kid. But when my kids were growing up, I used to say to them all the time, they'd go out to a party and I say, you had to be home by 10 or you had to be home by 11. And my daughter, Ayla, we always argue about that. She's like, why do I have to be home at 10? Oh, my friends are going to be out later than that. And I'm like, I don't care about your friends. You have to be home by 10 because nothing good happens after 10. You got to be home. And she didn't like that. And of course, what she would do, she would disobey and she would go out anyway. And sure enough, something bad would happen. Somebody had too much to drink. You'd have to go pick them up. Somebody went to jail. It's some nonsense. It happens every time. But your kids never listen to you because they know better. And that's what these bozos think. They think they know better. And you can say to them all day, I can say to them all day, socialism has never worked anywhere. But guess what? In the hands of these bozos, what do you think they're telling you? Yeah, but we didn't try it. Let us do it. I promise we'll do it better because we're not like the old folks. We care more. And they think they're morally superior than everyone. And if you give them the reins to this new socialism that they think they thought up, which is, again, kind of like old Coke. It's just old Coke. They think that they're going to do it. They're going to figure it out. And then they're going to destroy the earth. And we're just supposed to give it to them because they're younger and they're more empathetic. That's it. That's all it is.
Yeah, but the reality is, like, if you think about it from a perspective of science, if you do an experiment, if you boil water to a certain temperature, it turns to steam.
Yeah.
And the reality is, if something has been going on since 1917, it's happened in China, it's happened in the Soviet Union, it's happened in Cuba, it's happened in Nicaragua, it's happened in lots of other places, and there's not one example of it succeeding. So why is it suddenly going to succeed here? I mean, and this concept of the government controlling the means of production. The government can't control anything. Could you imagine a bureaucrat who's never run a business is suddenly put in charge of an industry? What are they going to do? They have no idea. Could you imagine Mondami running an automobile plant?
Did you see what Chris Murphy proposed? Even the Washington Post had to tell this guy he was out of his mind. $25 minimum wage for everybody, no matter what the industry. And even that looked to us like, obviously spoken by a guy who's never run a thing, signed a paycheck in his life. We got to leave it there. We're going to get Jonathan on. We'll talk to him. Dr. Michael Goldstein. Go check him out and help him out at goldsteinforcongress.com. That's goldsteinforcongress.com. He's still going to stick around, but then we're going to talk to Jonathan when we return. Mark Christopher's back. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're westbound, 84 delays East Hartford approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush. 84 eastbound's locked up 46 Sisson Avenue to the Bulkley. A little slow southbound 91 as you move down by exit 35 in Windsor. And again, just a brief tap of the brakes down by 32A and B in Hartford. If you are traveling to westbound, that is slow from 1D up to the 84 West merge in East Hartford. 291 westbound's tied up in South Windsor, exit 2 up to the Bissell Bridge and the construction there. 9 north and southbound slowing approaching the Aragoni Bridge. 9 northbound slowing in Berlin at 32. Westbound 84 is sluggish from 26 in Cheshire up to 22 in Waterbury. Southbound Parkway slowing 50 into the West Rock. 95 southbound delays 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8 WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
After a brief shower early in the evening, a clear sky tonight, the low 67. We've got ourselves a heat wave tomorrow with a high of 96. Tomorrow night, a clear sky down to 76. Day 2 of the heat wave on Wednesday with a high of 96. It'll be a little bit breezy, but dangerous heat. Seek time in the shade and stay hydrated. On Thursday, partly sunny, breezy, less humid, but still warm, the high temperature 93. Increasing clouds on Friday with a high of 88. And then as the front starts to come through, some showers and thunderstorms on Saturday with a high temperature of 80 degrees. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, highs in the 90s with our next heat wave. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC News Talk 1080 is celebrating America's 250th birthday all month long. So we're asking, what does being American mean to you?
To be American is to care for others in our country, and I think seeing everyone as equal, working as a team to accomplish our goals.
This American moment is sponsored by Cussin Automotive. This is WTIC News Talk 1080 with Brian and Company in the morning, Reese on the radio in the afternoon, and news around the clock. WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford and Odyssey Station.
5 o'clock, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Waterbury police have made 2 arrests in connection with a double fatal shooting at a city night spot earlier this month. The shootings left two people, 22-year-old Trevon Dunbar and 18-year-old Zaniyah Dawkins, dead. Happened at LA 42 Club back on July 5th. The suspects were picked up in New Britain last Friday. In addition to the murder charge, are also facing charges including conspiracy, reckless endangerment, and unlawful discharge of a firearm. Police say they found several handguns and other evidence when they executed a search warrant last Friday. Waterbury police say they'll have more information during a news conference scheduled for Tuesday at police headquarters. Connecticut health officials say they're seeing more cases of a parasitic disease that has been upsetting stomachs and worse across at least 17 states. Here's WTIC's Dave Mager.
We'll just call it severe gastrointestinal distress. That's the frequent result of the infection you've been hearing about for weeks, cyclosporiasis. It's not that common. Connecticut is reporting 35 cases, about twice as many than at this time last year. No specific food source has been identified, but the DPH is reminding residents to follow safe food handling and produce rinsing practices. Buy whole heads of lettuce instead of bagged salad mixes, and rinse all fresh produce under running water. If you do get cyclosporiasis, it's treated with antibiotics, rest, and adequate fluids. Dave Maker, WTIC 1080
Manchester
News.
police say one of their officers shot a suspect during an apparent domestic incident last night. WTIC's Morgan Cunningham reports.
Officers were dispatched to a residence in town just before 11 at night. A caller reported an 18-year-old was armed with a knife during the incident. Police arrived to find the suspect in the roadway. It was during that encounter that one of the officers discharged their weapon, hitting the suspect. That person was treated at the scene and then transported to an area trauma center. The Connecticut State Police Central District Major Crime Squad arrived to process the scene. The case has since been turned over to the Office of Inspector General. Standard procedure when an officer discharges their firearm. Morgan Cunningham, WTIC 1080 News.
President Trump says he wants Lindsey Graham's sister to replace him in the Senate. Graham died suddenly over the weekend. South Carolina's governor expected to make the choice today. Correspondent Jay O'Brien with more on how Graham's being remembered on the Hill.
His Capitol Hill colleagues remembering their friend. Even many Democrats, from former President Joe Biden to Delaware Senator Chris Coons, who dined with Graham on his 71st birthday.
While they shared more political disagreements than not, Senator Richard Blumenthal says the secret to Graham explains the secret Graham, that is, had working across the aisle on issues like the two worked on regarding Ukraine.
He showed a kindness to people we met along the way, people who were on staff of other senators or in the State Department or just people helping us on air travel. He had a sense of compassion individually, even if, he was against SNAP benefits or whatever on a broad scale.
President Trump says there's a blockade against Iranian vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. The president says a 20% toll will be slapped on all cargo. He told Fox News the U.S. would take control of the strait and get paid to do it.
We hit them very hard last night. Every time they send a drone, we hit them very hard. But we had a deal. What nobody knows, we had a deal. It was a done deal. And then they broke it.
It's that time of year again. School's out, summer vacations in full swing, and the blood supply around here has dwindled. Officials at the American Red Cross say donations were down 25% since June. Cheryl Engels, a member of the Red Cross Board of Directors in Connecticut, says there's another reason for the dip in donations.
We're also seeing a surge in emergency care, and with the large gatherings occurring across the United States, the hospitals are preparing for additional needs. So there's a shortage in blood to the hospitals right now.
All types are needed, particularly type O negative and platelets. Those interested in donating blood can go to ctblood.org or call 800-RED-CROSS. In addition, as a thank you, donors can receive a $15 Fandango movie ticket. On Wall Street, the Dow finished down 138 points today. The Nasdaq gave back over 400 and the S&P was down 60. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Does your morning start the same way every day? You wake up, walk into the bathroom, look into the mirror, and think, wow, this bathroom really needs an update. Then it's time to visit Modern Plumbing Supply. Our 8,000 square foot showroom is filled with hundreds of beautiful faucets, sinks, vanities, toilets, and so much more. Update your bathroom with Modern Plumbing Supply. And the only thing you'll have to worry about when you look in the mirror is your hair. Modern Plumbing Supply showroom on the Berlin Turnpike in Berlin.
Great design with you in mind. Modern Plumbing Supply.
Escape to casual luxury at Margaritaville Resort Cape Cod, the perfect island-inspired getaway in the heart of Hyannis, Massachusetts. Families will love making waves at Fins Up Water Park, while couples can slow down at the Saint Somewhere Spa, pure tropical bliss. And when the sun goes down, savor coastal flavors and ice-cold drinks at Landshark Bar and Grill. Whether you're chasing thrills or chill, your slice of paradise is waiting. Book your escape today at MargaritavilleResortCapeCod.com.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. We're going to be talking to Jonathan Goldstein in a second, but as we always do at this hour, news. News. Happy birthday goes out to some R&B soul singer named Leon Bridges. Never heard of him. He's 37. Deborah Cox, famously, I think is a one-hit wonder. That How Did You Get Here song. I remember I actually saw her live in concert. I'm not going to tell you who the headliner was because you'll judge me. She turns 52. Rhonda Vincent, a bluegrass singer and multi-instrumentalist, turns 64 years old. Louise Mandrell of the Mandrell Sisters, she turns 72. And Roger McGinn, the guitarist and singer from the group The Byrds, turns 84. On this day in music, July 13th, which is incidentally my son Caleb's birthday, turns 35 today. In 1939, Frank Sinatra made his recording debut with the Harry James Orchestra, cutting From the Bottom of My Heart and Melancholy Mood. In 1956, Elvis Presley released the double-sided smash Don't Be Cruel, backed with Hound Dog. The single would, of course, dominate the charts for weeks and sell millions. In 1985, on this day, the historic Live Aid concerts at Wembley Stadium in London and JFK Stadium in Philadelphia was started. Millions watched worldwide as Queen, U2, David Bowie, Mick Jagger, Madonna, and don't forget Hollis Queen's own Run DMC. Can't forget them. Jonathan and I were talking about them earlier. They were on it. And in 1991, In Excess, another group that I loved, performed at a massive show at Wembley Stadium exactly 6 years after the Live Aid performance. And, of course, you know what happened to Michael Hutchinson afterwards. Mark Christopher, he is back. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Please tell me that you liked In Excess, even though they were kind of a corny
saw them
band.
In concert. I
saw them,
I saw them. They were great.
I thought
that was like in the third row. I was
really close.
Yeah.
I love that album, Kick. I'll tell you.
Oh my God! Are you kidding?
That was such a good album, such a great. And I felt personally devastated. I'll never forget. I was sitting in Times Square at a restaurant when I saw over the ticker that Michael Hutchinson had died. Yeah. It still breaks me up. I thought they were high hopes. They were like the cooler U2.
Oh yeah, they were great.
I thought they were. I thought they were much better U2.
Fantastic.
And I love their little Bob Dylan take on what was the name of the song that Deviate, Illustrate, Try Not to Hate, Love Your Mate. They did a little Bob Dylan rendition in the music video after Need You Tonight.
Meditate. It was called Meditate.
Meditate, that's it. Meditate, alleviate, try not to hate, love your mate. That was such a great song. There it is. Oh man, now you're taking me back. I think I'm going to listen to that on the way home.
Great. That's a great album. I was playing those guys back in like the early 80s
Yeah.
on college radio. It was so much.
Had the cassette tape.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Hey, Reese, thank you very much. If you're heading into Hartford right now, westbound 84 tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush, 84 eastbound just a little slow, 48 Capitol Avenue to the tunnel. 91 southbound's a little tight, right lane at 32 A and B. The ride westbound Route 2 just a little tight as you merge with 84 West and East Hartford. Both sides of 9 are heavy as you approach the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. If you are traveling into the Waterbury area, westbound 84 sluggish, 26 in Cheshire up to the Mixmaster, and heading down in toward New Haven. Southbound side of the Parkway, you've got a little slow traffic now as you move from exit 50 down into the West Rock Tunnel. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
We've got some clouds across the region, but that will clear tonight down to 67 degrees, and the heat wave starts tomorrow, like Martha Reeves in the Vandellas song. The high 96. Dangerously hot tomorrow night, down to 76 degrees, so no relief at night. And Wednesday's high also 96. At least there will be a little bit of a breeze, but still make sure you drink plenty of water. And if you have to exercise, do it early in the morning or later in the evening. The last day of the heat wave on Thursday, partly sunny with a high of 93. Increasing clouds on Friday with a high of 88. Showers and thunderstorms on Saturday, the high temperature down to 80. Right now, 82 in Mansfield, 83 in Rocky Hill, and 82 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
That'll be 8452.
Perfect. Grab the bags, honey.
Mom, why do you always check your phone before we pay?
I'm just claiming my cash back on the Upside app. Since we're getting the groceries here and we filled up the car on the way, I've already earned enough this morning to pay for that pizza night we're having Friday.
Wait, so the app pays for pizza?
Not exactly, but the cash I earn on stuff we need helps us pay for the stuff we want. It's just a little win for our family every week.
Get more out of your everyday. Upside is the free app that gets you cash back on routine purchases like gas, groceries, and dining out at more than 100,000 locations nationwide. No points, no rebates, just cash back straight to your wallet. Download the free Upside app and use promo code WINNER to get a $5 bonus on your first purchase. That's promo code WINNER to get a $5 bonus. Remember, use promo code WINNER.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
From politics to news to music to movies and anything above the sun and outer space and beyond, it's Reese on the radio. Damn, he's good. Only on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Oh, goodness gracious. We are back, and we are live. Sitting across from me, as promised, Jonathan Goldstein, who is running in the 150th district. Goodness gracious, there are too many districts here. What do we got, 169?
151.
151.
Out of 69 towns.
So you're running, and your district captures where? What?
It's the Greenwich coastline. So it's
okay.
From Byram to the Stanford border.
Now, you guys, have you lived in the Greenwich area all your life? Or is that where you're from?
Born in New York City.
You may have to come up forward.
Born in New York City and
okay, whereabouts in New York City?
Upper East Side.
Okay, upper. Come on, be
81st and First.
Oh, you always 81st and First. Okay, yeah. So I was 90th and 91st and between second and third.
And then we came up here in 87, 88.
Okay,
I was about 6.5, and my parents wanted a better opportunity for me. And out of New York City, we wanted some space. At first, we're looking at Scarsdale, and everyone from Scarsdale was moving to Greenwich.
Right.
So my mom said, "Let me skip this interim step and let's go straight to Greenwich." And
yeah.
So we came, and I've been in Greenwich most of my life ever since.
Were your folks like me growing up, like living in New York, kind of like seeing Connecticut as like the brass ring? Like you've arrived when you come to Connecticut. Like that's the place where you sort of sow your roots, if you will, in a way.
Kind of like the Strivers Row of Harlem. Same idea.
Yeah.
You're striving and you're moving up, and it was to give me a better opportunity. It
Right.
was to give me a backyard. I mean, I love concrete so much, but I think the grass is nice.
Yeah, and it is. I mean, like I said, my first time ever in Connecticut, and again, living in Queens all my life, I had no reason to go to Connecticut. But I got my first fill. I was in Danbury, of all places, before, I mean, just at the point when it was starting to become integrated with a lot of immigrants. Let's just put that. But it was still kind of Danbury. It still had its roots in, just post hat factory.
Right. Like post manufacturing.
Yeah.
Pre.
Exactly.
Whatever it is now.
Yeah, exactly. So I got my first feel of it, and it kind of gave me the suburbs, like what it really was, and I fell in love. That was like in the mid-'90s. Then I got to work here in 2004, fell in love instantly when I had to live here. So it wasn't just like visiting on a day pass. But I got to live here, and I fell in love with it. So how old were you, I should say, when you got into?
About 6.
Oh, perfect. Oh, that's perfect. Did you love it instantly?
Yeah, I mean, I was still a rebel. I mean, my parents told me not to do things, and I have a lot of stitches in my face from that.
Really?
Yeah. So first thing, my dad got me a bike, which I had already, but we took the training wheels off, and you're a city kid, it's flat.
Right.
And he's like, you shouldn't be riding unsupervised, and I clearly said, I know better. And I took the bike, and we live on a hill, and I didn't know how to brake, because braking wasn't part of the process.
Right.
And the next thing I used was a giant boulder to stop.
Ooh.
Yeah, so there's a nice little cut here, and I walked up to the door. I knocked on the garage door. My dad opened the thing. I had blood. I wasn't crying, and the next thing he did was, get out a foldable table, and so Dr. Suture is pretty much. I think he's probably given me about 200 plus stitches over my life.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Some of them were because of things we did together that were not the smartest. It was kind of joint, but I got the stitches for it.
The interesting part about that story is that you end up in construction. In a large degree. Is it because you were kind of always like a kind of get your hands dirty, kind of ruffian, if you will? Like, I mean, even the bike story seems like you were kind of the person who wasn't going to be an accountant.
Well, I mean, I'm also an attorney, and I started practicing law first. And what happened was, I think I was about 15 or 16. I had a driver's license, and I said, "Dad, can we get an electrician? I want to put some more lights in my room." And my dad kind of got, "What are you, nuts?" So the first thing I did, just kind of growing up, is, I watched him fix pipes in the middle. New England resourcefulness is like a pipe breaks in the middle of the night. You learn how to, solder.
Jimmy rig it on your own.
Or do it correctly. And so he comes home. I went to Home Depot. I bought lights, got the wires, and I put the thing together. So I've always been in that I can do this on my own sort of thing when it comes to construction. And I practice law in the corporate world. And I've also, in that same period, I was a general counsel, and I was building out an office for the financial services firm that I worked for. So I've always been kind of getting my hands dirty. I think my mind works when I am thinking, but then I'm bored because I'm not getting my hands dirty. And when I'm getting my hands dirty, I'm not thinking. It kind of, I have to do both in order for my brain to function. So the construction law.
Yeah, that's what I was about to get into.
Kind of where I'm into is where I've been on the side of both representing contractors and owners. I've managed projects. I've been a GC. I've been a project manager. I've been a construction consultant. So I'm kind of now in this sweet space where the one thing we have in everything, just like we're talking, is information asymmetries, right? Between what you know and what the professional knows, and where that disconnect is where someone's frustrated. That's why everyone hates their contractor, because they have a bid to do one job, and the guy gives you a bid that's a piece of paper, and the other guy gives you a 35-page contract. And you go with the guy on the piece of paper that says, "I do job price," and then you're disappointed when he didn't include the 50 things that this guy included. And so part of my role is to do that. And it's also to help younger and especially immigrant contractors who want to go on their own and really live the American dream of not working for somebody and starting their own business. And they're one contract away or one from being bankrupt and being an employee of another firm. So I tend to do, especially Spanish speaking, is a big area of my practice. And it's more consulting because no one pays for attorneys anymore.
Right.
They think they've got LegalZoom or whatever. So it's more about putting the fact that I could bid a job, look at blueprints, read them, walk on rebar, do anything, from a bathroom to a skyscraper. There it is. Thank you. And it's bridging this gap. And I think it's more and more important these days because everyone has seen DIY shows and thinks they can be, the next, DIY.
I hate
stuff.
every one of those shows because my wife wants me to sort of watch them to think that I'm never going to do that stuff, dude. I'm not.
Your honey-do list is it's a pain.
No, my honey-do list is a who can I pay to do this? That's what I'm saying. It's
honey, I got someone to do it.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not doing it all. I thought it was interesting because on your website it shows you like literally full gear and you are on a site. So that I immediately got the impression that you're on both sides of it. You said construction law. Can you explain why you frame it that way, or is that the way it has to be?
That's framed? The way. A lot of stuff is right now construction consulting, and then if I need to use my law degree, I do that because you kind of break it up. So a lot of it is reading the business part of someone's practice and helping them bid out a project and excluding the work that they're not meant to do and that they're not getting paid to do. So if you're clear where you start, you try to manage expectations going forward.
Right.
You may lose projects, but it's better to be transparent than to.
So you're probably very familiar with this story I did a couple of weeks ago with some of these minority contractors who are either not getting paid on projects and are being sort of duped out of being paid on them. Some of them have to pay out of pocket and are at the risk of going bankrupt. This was a story that was out in May. I think it was in Connecticut Mirror on May 7th. I had one of the minority contractors here talking about that. Do you familiar with that story at all?
I'm familiar a little bit with that story, but not completely.
Okay.
The idea
but you represent people who are in these situations.
Yeah, absolutely. There's people that are minority contractors that are real minorities doing the work, and there's like the straw man minority, and then that's we might as well get what's his name, Nick Shirley, in for that when he finishes the Medicaid and every other
Yeah, because the way that he described it was, as you said, this so-called minority. I guess they include women.
Yeah, well, it's minority women.
Yeah,
and then I think that's
so it'd be the guy who owns the company will kind of put his wife's name on or girlfriend's name on the sort of company name.
Yeah, just like the Cadillac in Goodfellas. Yeah, it's in my wife's name.
Yeah,
or my mother's name rather.
That guy doesn't survive, by the way.
Most don't. But.
At the end of it. So you're in this, obviously, I would assume much like your dad, this is a business that you do really well in, and then you get into politics. Everybody always asks the question, why politics? It almost seems like a downgrade or a step beneath your usual life.
I don't think it's a step below. I think it's important that, there's people that are running from industries and experience and bringing that experience to the state of Connecticut, Washington, the White House, wherever it is. And I don't think we have enough people in politics that are actually from any industry. So some of them are like trained politicians from birth, and they have they're this pedigree and they just keep moving forward. They're in the right place at the right time, and they just, they pay their dues and they get there. And I think when you look at what's going on in this country and what's going on in the state of Connecticut, it's run by a lot of people that have no industry experience. And I think that's where, if I can expand the base and if I can expand the opportunity and I can impact change, and I think Connecticut is a great example. It should be, it's a beautiful suburb of New York City, Fairfield County, where Greenwich is, but we need more than that. It's a beautiful suburb, but it's becoming New York City, and the same problems that we see in New York are now coming to Connecticut, and they're going to get worse.
Describe a few if you could.
Well, I think everyone leaves New York City after saying we want all these programs, and the taxes keep going up, and the real estate taxes go up. Look, Westchester County versus Fairfield County, the property taxes are significantly higher. I think, houses in Scarsdale are $100,000 plus. In Greenwich, is probably the same house is about $15,000 in property taxes. So they use the money to, it's because it's a large school age demographic.
Yeah.
And so that's part of the challenge. And I think when you need certain services, you got to pay for them.
Right.
Where do you raise the money from? It's either taxes or taxes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're seeing more people coming here and bringing those ideas to Connecticut that need to be a little bit, I guess, quashed or sort of tempered, if you will.
Are they not bringing, because it seems like there are more people coming into those communities who need services as opposed to provide a skill that will prevent them from having to use those services, right? There are more people who need a welfare system as opposed to those who contribute to the community or contribute to the tax base. Is that what we're seeing in that area?
We're seeing a little bit. I think Greenwich has a higher poverty rate than, for example, Fairfield, Connecticut.
Mhm.
I mean, they're very similar towns in terms of size and demographics. And then Greenwich gets penalized because the formulas that they use for when you're building a school system, I think Connecticut gets about 10 to 15% back. So 85% is a burden on the taxpayers of Greenwich, whereas in Fairfield, they're getting 75% back. So, the challenge we have is that you're building schools and you're improving education because, kids need a great place to go to school. But when it's all, it's also to work within the state education requirements. So it's kind of like an unfunded mandate in the sense that you got to build a school a certain way with all these rules, with those certain contractors. And then the price goes from, let's say for the private project to a public project, it doubles or triples.
Right.
And then doesn't get done in time. And then now you've got the taxpayers of Greenwich bearing that burden.
Yeah,
So-
they're on the hook for it no matter what.
Right, and then you also have a large demographic because we border up against New York, Portchester. I think there's a lot of people that come in that are also English is not their first language, and so you also spend money on education as you move to Greenwich on the education. So you have to have teachers that speak Spanish. You have to, there's parts that you're adding additional cost to education, which it's important. And I'm not, I think it's important we have diversity in our schools. We also have to understand that, some people are just moving it, like you said, to take advantage of the services rather than to contribute.
Yeah. And because it's a wealthier county and the politics of said county kind of invites that, is that fair to say?
I don't know if it's fair to say. I think you have a lot of people who are conservative, and you have a lot of people that, the term I don't want to use is limousine liberal, but it's you made a lot of money and you now think that there's a process of supporting certain social benefits programs, and maybe there's a disconnect there too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of a challenging one to deal with, but that's sort of what Fairfield has become, is a lot more, we've made our money, we want to help, but maybe don't understand the impact of changing the tax base of the town. The mill rates that were lower were there to attract people and businesses, and as everything else goes up, businesses are not coming to Connecticut.
Something I said maybe back in 2022 during that election, Bob Stefanowski and Governor Lamont. And many people were asking, why is this going on if they know that it's only going to end up being more and more, it's going to be a tax and spend policy of the Lamont administration. And I said something then that many people agreed with. I think it was Pastor Will who agreed with me and asked me to sort of, elaborate more on it. I've come to realize that Connecticut can afford its politics, and that is the majority blue, the majority Democrat state, that they keep sort of sucking to. They seem to be voting their way back into this Democrat stronghold, knowing that it's only going to cost them more in a tax burden, that it's going to be another raise your taxes, spend all your money on these social programs. I didn't realize what time it was. All right, we'll get to that in a second. I got into some deep thought on this, and I got to go with long. Stand by. Let's get to weather and traffic. Mark Christopher is here. He is at the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center, and I'll finish my question off. Figure out how to formulate it, Mark. We'll be back.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, 91 southbound, look for delays in Hartford 33 down to 32, again down by exit 28. If you are traveling westbound 84, delays East Hartford approaching the Bulkley Bridge, you're slow out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound slowing 46 Sisson Avenue down to the Bulkley Bridge. 2 westbound delays 1D up to the 84 West Merge. 291 westbound slowing 2 up to the Bissell Bridge in the construction. Both sides of 9 heavy approaching the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. If you are traveling 91 southbound, look for sluggish traffic 19 down to 17 for the Wilbur Cross Parkway. Westbound 84 a little tight in Cheshire, 26 up to 25, again 22 to the Mixmaster. And southbound on the Parkway, look for a little slow traffic 50 into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 south delays 46 down to 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8 WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
After a brief shower early in the evening, a clear sky tonight, the low 67. We've got ourselves a heat wave tomorrow with a high of 96. Tomorrow night, a clear sky down to 76. Day 2 of the heat wave on Wednesday with a high of 96. It'll be a little bit breezy, but dangerous heat. Seek time in the shade and stay hydrated. On Thursday, partly sunny, breezy, less humid, but still warm, the high temperature 93. Increasing clouds on Friday with a high of 88. And then as a front starts to come through, some showers and thunderstorms on Saturday with a high temperature of 80 degrees. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, highs in the 90s with our next heat wave. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
5:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. A Bridgeport police officer was killed in a motorcycle crash this morning in Danbury. Officer Cooper Whiteside and his passenger, Brittany Islami, died when the bike Whiteside was operating collided with another vehicle on Sugar Hollow Road. The driver of the Jeep Compass that was involved in the crash was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. That crash remains under investigation. 2 arrests in connection with a double fatal shooting in Waterbury this month. They're juveniles that police say were responsible for the shooting deaths of 22-year-old Trevon Dunbar and 18-year-old Zanaya Dawkins. This at the LA 42 nightclub back on July 5th. They executed a search warrant on Friday, found handguns and other evidence. The juveniles are being charged with murder along with various weapons violations. Officer-involved shooting in Manchester. Police say they were called to a domestic incident Sunday night. Upon arrival, they found the 18-year-old suspect reported to have a knife outside the home. An officer fired, hitting the suspect. That person is now in the hospital. Meantime, the Inspector General has rendered a decision on another officer-involved shooting in that town. Happened last year. Samuel Lee, he fled a traffic stop, nearly ran over an officer. When stop sticks didn't work, Lee was struck in the hip by an officer's shot. The IG says the officer was justified in using deadly force to subdue Lee. 15-year-old girl died over the weekend on Crystal Pond in Eastford. According to Encon police, the teen was on a paddleboard and went into the water. A Good Samaritan pulled her ashore. She was transported to Day Kimball Hospital, where she was pronounced dead. And there's a blood emergency that has been declared in Connecticut. Red Cross is putting the word out. They need blood donors. They say donations have dropped 25% since last month, below a 2-day inventory. To make an appointment, go to ctblood.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS. Down day for the markets today. The Dow lost 138 points. NASDAQ dropped 408, and the S&P was down 60. No baseball tonight. It's the All-Star game. Tonight it's the Home Run Derby in Philadelphia. American League and National League will tangle in the game tomorrow night. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Celebrate America's 250th anniversary with the limited edition O'Reilly Brake Parts Cleaner while supplies last at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, get 2 cans for $8. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts or shop online at O'ReillyAuto.com.
If you're in the Hartford area and caring for a loved one with Medicaid, get paid starting today. Freedom Care has already helped over 162,000 families get the care they deserve, with 97% satisfaction and more than 8,000 5-star reviews. If you have Medicaid and are 65 or older, you need to hear this. You may qualify to choose a caregiver you already trust, a family member or friend, and they can start getting paid tax-free. No agencies, no strangers, just someone you know helping with meals, medication, bathing, mobility, and more. This service isn't for later, it's for right now. It's 100% free to you through Medicaid, and caregivers get paid right away after their shift. Find out if you qualify today. Call 860-777-1597. That's 860-777-1597. Don't wait. Call 860-777-1597 now. Again, 860-777-1597. Freedom Care. Get paid to care. Starting now.
Freedom Care. We're here for you.
You take care of your dog out of love and responsibility. But what if every scoop that you're feeding them is slowly making them sicker? Not because you're a bad pet owner, but because the pet food industry never told you the truth. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon #1 best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. Dog food is dead food, stripped of every live nutrient that your dog needs. That's where Rough Greens comes in. Just sprinkle it on top of whatever you're already feeding them. It's packed with live probiotics, enzymes, omega oils, and over 20 live vitamins and minerals, all natural and made in the USA. Thousands of dog owners are watching their pets transform transform. More energy, shinier coat, better mobility, and your dog could be next. Take the Rough Greens 90-day challenge. Give us 90 days and we'll give you a healthier dog, guaranteed. Get a free Jumpstart trial bag for your dog today. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. Use discount code USA. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code USA. Rough Greens. So good, your dog will ask for it by name.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app. Search WTIC News Talk 1080 and tap earlier today to get started.
All right, Reese on the radio. We're going to get weather and traffic, and then we'll continue our conversation with Jonathan Goldstein and his campaign in the 150th district. Also, we mentioned earlier today, if you have a business and you guys have T-shirts, send them on down. I take a large, Roland takes a 2X because he is a 90s rapper. And he's got to have real baggy T-shirts. I don't know what that's all about. Not exactly certain, but he takes a 2XL because he likes them really, really baggy. Do you ever wear them as bowling shirts? Is that kind of your thing? Is that why you like them loose so you can bowl in them?
They're not loose.
You're not that big.
2XL is my size.
Okay, fine. Okay, well, he has 2XL, but if you're interested, please send them over to the station. It is at 10 Executive Drive in Farmington. As you can see, I'm wearing Lola's over in Plainville. I asked them I was having lunch or dinner or whatever it was, and I said, hey, you got a T-shirt for me to wear? And I'm wearing it. So tell the good folks over at Lola I made that promise come true. I'm wearing the shirt.
You know I got these guns on me, man.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. You have the 22,
I have
41s.
Big guns on me, man.
You have the guns? Yes, okay. Yeah, sure. So send him the ultra super large double XL or 2XL T-shirt. I'll just take a large. I'm not that fat yet. And plus, I'm losing weight. I've got a trainer now. Twig is my trainer. So, yeah, just send them on down at 10 Executive Drive in Farmington, Connecticut. Just send it to WTIC. Just make sure you address it to Reese on the radio. You have to send a shirt for Roland. 2XL, me just a large. But make sure you send it. And if you have a hoodie, send those just to Roland. I don't wear hoodies. I think those things are too cumbersome and hot. He wears the hoodie. I'm not exactly sure why. Why do you like hoodies? Why do people like hoodies? Are they just comfortable? Is that what that's about?
Yeah. And if you don't want to really wear a big jacket,
you
could throw on.
It's like fall weather.
You could throw on a T-shirt
and just a hoodie.
And a hoodie. And if it's cold, you just put your hoodie up. And if it's not as cold, put your hoodie down.
Do you rather the hoodie with the pockets? Is that kind of like, or just any hoodie?
It don't matter.
It doesn't matter.
No, I like them all.
Okay. I like the hoodies with the pockets for some odd reason. I don't know. It's weird. It's just it just feels warmer. I don't know.
Oh, you like to put your hands in the pocket?
Yeah. When I walk and I'm just got hands in the pocket and when I don't know. It's a weird thing. But I'm not really into hoodies. But if I have to wear a hoodie, I like them.
I like them because then you can design. You can put stuff on the back if you want to.
Ah, that's true. Absolutely. So again, 10 Executive Drive in Farmington. If you have a company or I don't know, maybe a little clothing line, T-shirts, just send them on down here at 10 Executive Drive in Farmington, Connecticut, and we'll wear them right here on the show. Mark Christopher is back. Mark is a hoodie guy. Oh, he's a sweatshirt kind of guy, right? Mark Christopher in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center?
Yeah, not this time of the year, but
yeah, but no, not this time of the year. But when you it's cold or like an early morning, you'll throw on a sweatshirt.
Oh, absolutely.
That's your look. You know who you remind me of? That character that Ted Knight used to play on Too Close for Comfort. He used to always wear a sweatshirt with a college on it. Remember that?
That's true. I remember him.
You kind of sport that look with a pair of shorts.
Oh yeah, and I wear shorts right up until Christmas almost.
You are and he's got like Bill Clinton legs.
Right. Let me just say this: my legs aren't tan.
No, they are not.
Right. Speaking of Ted Knight, he's from Terryville, Connecticut.
That's right.
So
I was a big fan of that show, Too Close for Comfort. Love that show.
I loved him on Mary Tyler Moore, the incompetent anchorman.
Yes, absolutely.
Ted Knight with the news.
Oh, God, you know what I just found out about him?
What?
Ted Knight used to be the voice
that said, "Back at the Hall of Justice." I didn't know that.
Wow, he has a great
Meanwhile,
voice.
at the Hall of Justice, that was Ted Knight.
He had a great voice. Very, very funny guy.
He was.
Love Ted Knight. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, eastbound side of 84 delays 46 Avenue down to the Bulkley. Westbound 84 tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush. If you're traveling on the westbound side of 291, some delays exit 2 up to the Bissell Bridge. 2 westbound slowing 1D up to the 84 West merge. Heading into Middletown, both sides of 9 heavy approaching the Aragoni Bridge. If you're heading into Meriden, 91 southbound delays 19 to 17. Westbound 84 in Waterbury, a little tight 22 up to the Mixmaster. If you're heading into New Haven, southbound Parkway slowing from 50 into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 south delays 46 down to 44 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Clear sky tonight down to 67 degrees. The next heat wave begins tomorrow with a high of 96. Tomorrow night, clear down to 76, so very little relief at night. Wednesday's high 96 with a mix of sun and clouds. Thursday's high 93. To put things in perspective, the July 1st through 4th heat wave that we had, the highest temperature was 99 degrees. So this is just a tick below that. Dangerous heat tomorrow through Thursday. Friday, increasing clouds with a high of 88, and then a couple of showers and thunderstorms. We cool it off nicely on Saturday with a high of 80. Right now, 83 in Plainville, 82 in Coventry, and 84 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-738-9900. That's 800-738-9900. 800-738-9900.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. You know who it is. You know who it is. It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
We're behind the scenes talking about James Carville because he's so angry at the Democrat Party. Jonathan, did you say he left the Democrat Party?
I think he said something after the last socialist primary.
I said, I'm done. I think I'm done. I'm done with the Democrats. Sure. Where's he going? Where's he going to go?
He's not joining the conservatives.
Certainly not. He ain't going anywhere.
There might be a new island for him. We'll figure it out.
Moderate Democrat. That's the guy who said, what did they do? They put a $100 bill in a trailer park. That's what he said about Paula Jones. Remember that? Remember that? What a jerk. We're here with Jonathan Goldstein. His dad is here. Oh, I don't know who Mike is. Mike is a contractor. Okay, well, let me go to. Do you want to take a phone call?
Sure.
Why not? Mike is on the line. How you doing, Mike?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. You're on with Jonathan. What'd you want to ask?
Hey, Mike.
Well, I mean, we're talking about, people that weren't born here, this and that. But how about the guys that are here? I mean, we go up against consumer protection. We have nothing. I mean, we have nothing. Contractors have nothing in Connecticut. No matter what you do. Listen, I did the first skate park in Connecticut at Stanley Quarter Park in New Britain in 2000. I did sidewalks. I did West Hartford. I did the splash park. I did everything. I mean, you do one little job wrong, consumer protection kills you. We have no voice here, nothing.
Absolutely. And they also beat you the other way. They go to consumer protection because they don't want to pay you. That's a different
No,
issue.
but you know what it is? No. See, we do all kinds of – me, I'm the type of guy, I got a big heart, okay? And I help out people. I do everything. I even had to go to the appellate court of Connecticut to win a case, okay? And I won it by myself with no attorney, okay?
But, Michael, he's saying that they use the consumer protection against people like you so that they don't have to pay you.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And the more you do for them, the worse it is. And, you know, I'm not an overnight contractor. I did a lot of federal, state jobs, customer jobs, everything. Then you get this one job where they look up. Every contractor goes through civil lawsuits. We all go through so many things. But look at the end result. You know, what the end result was. Who won that case? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to consumer protection, you're already guilty.
Absolutely. And the other problem you have is on the other side, you've got the workers' comp thing and all the bad, fraud cases there too. I mean, and then, the insurance costs are through the roof and no one wants to pay for insurance. I mean, this is
but what I'm saying is us guys that we really put our heart into this and everything, then we get to, because this customer learned how to file a complaint. Oh my God, I could get paid no matter what. And they lie, and you got to go spend all kinds of money for attorneys.
You're advocating, hear me out, Michael. You're advocating for something, if I'm hearing you correctly, because tell me what you're advocating for, because I get the complaints, but you're saying, what about us? What do you want, or what are you?
I'm advocating for all contract. We have no shot with consumer protection. A customer only has to put in a complaint, and the contractor has nothing.
Okay, so you're looking, hear me out, Mike. So you're looking for a politician that will protect you in the event that these people use this as a means to not pay you or to ruin you as a contractor. Is that what you're asking?
I'm looking to be treated fair. Look at everything, because the minute they file a complaint,
fair is subjective, Michael. If you're not understanding my question, let me rephrase it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I'm hearing you out, and I hear your complaint, and I'm saying that they're legitimate. But my question to you is, are you asking Jonathan, when you say, what can you do for us, or what about us? You have to be specific. And there's a reason for that, because if he's going to volley for you, if he's going to lobby for you, he has to know what you're talking about. You can't, saying that you need to be treated fair. Fairness is subjective, right? What you think is fair, other people may not think is fair.
Well, it's simple. I mean, when a customer doesn't like what you're doing, I want him to lobby for us that we have our side also. Not automatically consumer protection. We have no side. They all automatically go for the customer.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Michael.
We need something. We need our own department where we can call and say, hey, listen, this customer's not doing what they were supposed to do on the contract, and then all of a sudden they're putting a complaint in on me.
I got you. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate you. Do you hear his?
Yeah, I understand what he's trying to say here. I think what you also need, again, this comes down to the information gap between what you say you're going to do and what you do, and how you price it. I think that's part of it as well. So it comes down to, did you do the job the way he said it was going to do under the contract? And if there's not a bunch of construction professionals as part of this consumer protection group, there's other administrative courts that have, in other professions that have those professionals that understand what's going on.
Yeah.
But if you don't have professionals in there, you just have a bureaucrat, you're probably going to never win. So
yeah,
you're going to side with the consumer every single time.
See, it sounds like Michael's saying that the Consumer Protection Agency, or at least when person files or client files with Consumer Protection, they can file under any frivolous reason, right? It almost seems like it's incidental how
that's
they can
what it
file.
sounds like he's talking about. And I've heard cases like that. You're automatically presumed that you didn't do it right. The consumer is always right. And it's like the Stu Leonards, except that the customer is always right, but that's not in the case of construction. Same idea.
And they're fighting an uphill battle because with that, does it then, like, let's say you get this accusation sent to Consumer Protection. Does this affect future jobs?
I think it does, because I think then they're also looking at Better Business Bureau and probably some of these. I don't know the exact how it's done in Connecticut, and I mean I do a lot more of my work in New York City, and I'm moving more into the Connecticut space. But the other problem is if you take a small job, whatever you're doing, let's say it's a $10,000 job, and now you have an attorney's not going to start for $5,000.
Right.
So, and the profit margins are so small, and you're getting pushed out. Like, this is where, how do you protect yourself? What is going to cover you? There's really no safety net that I think Mike's talking about to protect you from these little claims that most likely are frivolous. Probably someone didn't want to pay, or didn't have the funds, because a lot of these smaller jobs, these homeowners are, they're living tight, but they need to fix something because it's an emergency. And if you have a big heart like Mike sounds like he has, you're going to be caught in a situation where you do all this work, you go above and beyond, and then boom, you get cut.
If you're a small contractor, and I know that because I owned a small moving company, in order to get that job, especially bidding for one, you will go as low as possible. You will promise the sun, moon, and the stars for that job just to get it, especially when times are tight. Yeah. And if you don't meet that mark, because you kind of, overpromised, as many people do in this business, you're going to come up short, and they will get you in the end. They usually will. If they nickel and dime you in the start, it always means they're going to nickel and dime you in the end.
If they're already a challenge before you even started, sometimes you're just like, there's a pain in the blank point that you put into the line.
Yeah. So the platform that you're running on, Jonathan, so we get to that. What is your, other than, of course, protecting or at least bringing businesses and protecting homeowners and people who have a stake in Connecticut, what are you generally running on?
It's pretty much the same platform as most of the conservatives running, from Ryan Fazio, who represents Greenwich now as a state senator, is obviously looking for the governor. I think for me, it boils down to the ABCs. It's affordability. We keep talking about it. It's the buzzword on, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle, but it's, what does affordability mean? Does it mean I want affordable home ownership, not affordable rent? Right? That's one of the things. And more importantly, these affordable measures that have come down with all these housing rules that are now part of Lamont's master plan of regional housing development it's the real ramifications of those. And so now we're talking bring back local control from Hartford. It's a town knows what's best. Politics is really a local issue. It's not federal. It doesn't really matter who's in the federal government for the most part. It's who's representing you in Hartford or who's representing you at your town hall, and bringing that back. They know what's best for their community, because they know you can't put a highway through the middle of the road, middle of Main Street or wherever you are, and it just doesn't work. There's traffic. And then C, it's protecting the coastline. Connecticut is known for its coastline. It's a summer retreat for so many people. Some people come here in the wintertime too for the, whatever we do here, but it's
Christmas
really,
is beautiful.
Christmas
there.
is beautiful. It's go visit your family in Christmas time, but it's bringing back the environment. And one of the things that the affordable housing has caused is there's just not enough sewage treatment. It's an ugly thing to talk about, but the real thing is we talk about, people in Fairfield County, our blank doesn't, smell, but it really is starting to smell. That's really what's happening is you hear the kids can't go into the Long Island Sound every day because, falling rainstorms, beaches are closed. This is not necessarily a Greenwich issue. It is a Greenwich issue, but it's also a whole coastline issue because a lot of these, waste management facilities are located by bodies of water. That's part of the process.
Exactly, yeah.
And then you have too much sewage going into the Sound after a rainstorm, or, towns like Wilton, which is not my district, but they rely on other towns because they don't have any waste management. So it goes to Norwalk. And this is just going to be going on and on. We talk about building more houses, but if your sewer system can't take it, or you're forcing towns to upgrade sewage treatment because of these unfunded mandates, which is really what Hartford has been doing for, the entire Lamont administration and through the public benefits charge and other things, these unfunded mandates are now being borne by the taxpayers in ways they should never have to. And this is where, I'm a conservationist, I'm an environmentalist. my dad kind of jokes. I have gas chainsaws, but I bought a new one, and I was kind of sick and tired of the smell of the 2-stroke. And I mean, I can fix the small parts. I said, I'm going to buy a commercial electric chainsaw. Now, there's not too many Jewish guys like me who operate a chainsaw, but
okay.
But the point is that I made a conscious decision because one is I was breathing in those 2-stroke fumes. It's different than a 4-stroke engine. We can talk about combustion and emissions there.
Uh-huh.
So it's looking at what makes sense for the environment, even on the small things like that. And for me, I can charge my battery to do it, but if you're working in out in the field, it may not be so easy. So it's about going that the kids, like I said, at an event yesterday, it's that you should be able to use our public spaces, our public beaches at any given time, not, wait 5 days following a rainstorm to get back into the sound. And,
wow.
And I think we're seeing a lot more of these sand fleas or whatever these things they're calling. I think it's more like pollutants in the sound.
It seems weird that would be happening in what many would consider a very environmentally conscious Connecticut.
I think we say we're environmentally conscious, but I don't think we're really acting environmentally conscious enough. Again, more and more toxins are being put into the Long Island Sound. More and more days, you can't go and swim. You can look at the beach, but you can't touch.
Wow.
I mean, and it's the rivers. I just saw there was something that happened up here. That one of the big rivers got, polluted, and again, the sewage from in Greenwich is a result of what happens in Stamford and Norwalk or wherever else. It's not a local issue. It's an entire.
It's a statewide issue.
It's a statewide issue.
Yeah.
And so these are things that we should be looking at, and more importantly, most of these topics are not. They shouldn't be political. These
Right.
are common sense pocketbook issues that the Connecticut voter that I am running to serve should care about.
Yeah.
And my district we have some of the poorest. We have a lot of housing projects in Greenwich where people don't think Greenwich has housing projects.
Yeah, I was stunned by that.
We had some of the first ones because the Arnold Bread Factory set up workforce housing.
Yeah.
But that doesn't count to some of the 830G and all the other numbers because it predates a certain time. So we have to be proactive in our government. We have to be proactive in what we're doing. It's affordable. You can build, but can you service it? Or does the town now have to go and build pumping stations and transient? And this is where I think Hartford misses the mark because they don't see those impacts because they're not here.
Yeah.
They assume that everyone in Greenwich is a millionaire.
I want everyone to go to Goldstein 4CT. Again, Goldstein 4CT Goldstein4CT.com to help him fundraise. Of course, you are still fundraising.
I'm still fundraising. I really need the $5 signature is what they call it.
Okay.
We've pretty much hit the fundraising mark. It's anyone who lives in Greenwich can support this. Republican, Democrat, independent, unaffiliated. As long as you're registered to vote, you can support it. Actually, I think you don't even have to be registered to vote to support.
Okay.
Because I think you can be under the age of 18.
Can I get the both of you back later on next month after my birthday? Seriously,
absolutely.
I would love to have you guys back. I mean, you're fellow Jews, eh?
You're mishpocha.
Yeah, exactly. We got to get up out of here. It's the end of the show. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good night. Pleasant tomorrow. We'll see you back here at 2 p.m. Luke Bronin joins us at 4 p.m. tomorrow. Do not miss that. Mark Christopher's getting you home. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Good night, Mark.
Good night, Reese. Have a good one. If you are heading toward Hartford right now, 84 westbound, a little slow now from exit 47 out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound, you'll lose a little speed. 48 Capitol Avenue into the tunnel. 91 north and southbound in very good shape. Cromwell up into Windsor Locks in the airport. 291 westbound slowing approaching the Bissell Bridge.